The Gulf of Mexico, partly sunny skies. We should top out again close to 88 degrees. A good 10 to 12 degrees above average. Tonight, some clouds around 64. Thursday, sunny skies, 88. Instant replay on Friday, sunny and 88 degrees. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Annie Fry Show is sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Time to get ready for cold weather and schedule your heating system check. Get not just your heating system, but your entire HVAC system checked for $19 a month with the Preferred Partner Plan. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
Annie Fry, Ryan Wiggins, Brad Ray.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
For goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
Well, the White House is going to brief us here shortly on the government that has been shut down. How has your life been affected, Ryan Wiggins?
So far, I am destitute. So far.
That was leading up to the shutdown, though.
Yeah, it didn't directly correspond to the shutdown. But
it's kind of nice to associate it, though. Destitute.
It's always nice when you have problems to be able to blame something. And that's what I'm doing.
I was on the phone with my husband when I was ordering coffee this morning, and I ordered my traditional latte, and the lady at Scooters goes, "You want an extra shot today?" And I was like, "No, not today." And then I said to my husband, I go, "Ryan's back. I don't need an extra shot."
Thank you.
I think you owe me like $1.50 or whatever an extra shot of espresso is for each day you take off on vacation.
Or vice versa, you owe me for saving you the extra shot.
Destitute. Not with that wit. The shutdown has commenced. I feel very, I don't know, maybe it's just the mood I'm in, but I feel like the Democrats are failing miserably at this shutdown. In the past, it always seems like a government shutdown, when Congress can't come together, you have the Democrats, they're always wanting more. The Democrats always want to give more to the American people. They always want the government to do more for the American people. They never pay for it. And that is essentially how we get to where we are right now with the makeup of Congress the way it is right now. We have people who have been elected to stop the overspending, to get back to a sense of fiscal responsibility. And I really don't know. It's probably Donald Trump, but it just seems like the Republicans are like, it would be absurd to agree with what the Democrats are wanting us to do. There's no way in hell that we're going to do what the Democrats are asking us to do. Why would we do that? And it's just a straight to the point response to the Democrats usually going, but what about the people who won't have any health care? And then the Republicans
Yep.
like, oh, but what about those people? It's an election year coming up.
Yeah, no, that pretty much summarizes it.
That's a new voice.
I love it.
I like it.
But what about the people?
You're right. I don't see a particular person being the spokesperson for the GOP on any of this. I mean, John Thune's out there. Mike Johnson's out there. If anybody, I'd say maybe J.D. Vance has been the most vocal about it. He's kind of on behalf of the White House. But it seems like a pretty united front that they're like, we're not doing any of this. We control this. We need a few of you to come over to our side for one vote.
And in the Senate, they were able to get a few. John Fetterman did support it. I mean, you have to understand I keep trying to do the shoe on the other foot type of thing. Like if we were in the slight minority, how would I feel? Stand your ground. Don't give in. So I don't really know that the Democrats that are standing their ground, like on principle, I don't really know that I disagree with them, but their principles suck.
Well, the other principle, what they want sucks, and they're just not able to do it because Donald Trump is playing a masterclass game of chess here.
Yeah, here's his vice
Step
president.
back for a second, because I think it's important for the American people to realize that the far left faction of Senate Democrats shut down the government because we wouldn't give them hundreds of billions of dollars for health care benefits for illegal aliens. It's actually not even all Senate Democrats. I was really gratified to see that a few of the moderate Senate Democrats voted with Senate Republicans last night to keep the government open. This is basically Chuck Schumer. Chuck Schumer, he's worried he's going to get a primary challenge from AOC. And so he's shutting down the people's government to give in to sort of the left-wing coalition and their party, and it's craziness, and people are going to suffer because of it. I mean, people who benefit from low-income food programs are going to suffer because of this. If you're flying today, I hope, of course, you arrive safely and on time, but you may not arrive on time because the TSA and the air traffic controllers are not getting paid today. Our military is not getting paid today, starting today, and obviously the longer this drags on, the worse that it is for the American people.
So the vice president talking there about what this does mean in the immediate moment. Now, he said that the Democrats are wanting they want health care for illegals. And then I've seen a lot of people come on and say, no, that's not actually accurate. That's not what they actually are looking for. The GOP tweeted today on the GOP Twitter account. They said, here it is. Democrats are liars. Let me put this down here. And they've got the actual text of what it is that is in what the Democrats proposed. The first part is a screenshot of subtitle E, other health provisions, repeal of health subtitle changes. And then it goes on, and this is like super nerdy in the weeds medical stuff, but section 71109, alien Medicaid eligibility. That's part of what the Democrats are proposing here. And then it goes on to explain, and I'm not going to read the whole thing because I would fall asleep reading it, but it's under alien Medicaid eligibility. Medicaid section 1903 of the Social Security Act is amended in paragraph by striking and inserting blah, 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 by adding at the end of the following new paragraph, notwithstanding the preceding paragraphs of this subsection, beginning on October 1st, 2026, except as provided in paragraphs 2 and 4, in no event shall payment be made to a state under this section for medical assistance furnished to an individual unless such individual is. And then it goes on to explain who is going to qualify for health care. An alien lawfully admitted for permanent residence, a citizen or national of the United States, an alien who has been granted the status of Cuban or Haitian entrant, an individual who lawfully resides in the United States in accordance with the Compact of Free Association. And it goes on to list all of the different things that they're trying to add. They're trying to expand the amount of monies out of your paycheck that are going to go into the government and be used for health care for people who are here, just as we've seen over and over and over again from the right trying to prove their point. And it's really important to listen to what we've heard yesterday we had Congressman Bost on, but talking about what the ask is right now from the Democrats. They want 4 weeks. What is it? 4 weeks from the Democrats to the Republicans' 7-week CR. And they want to add $1.6 trillion of spending.
Jeez.
Yeah, I knew it was over $1 trillion.
I mean, it's absurd. It's like, on the surface, we can be like, who's the stupider party, Republicans or Democrats? Vote in the poll. That's not the poll today. Might be tomorrow. But you can ask that question, but when you really dig into it, going back to what I was saying, if the Democrats were standing on principle, if what was at stake here, if the roles were reversed and the Democrats had proposed in the CR that they wanted that they were going to fully double fund Planned Parenthood, and Republicans are like, no, we're not voting for that. Shut the government down. I would say good on you for doing that. But I don't understand what the Democrats are proposing to the American people that they, on the whole, have voted it resoundingly against the funding of people who are here, not legally, people who are not here as citizens. We have to stand for something. And if the Republicans cave in this point, and I just don't even see it, I don't even see a hairline fracture in what in what the Republicans are presenting themselves at right now. It's actually kind of a laughing mockery of the Democrats and the Schumer shutdown. They've turned this entire thing into a political hellfire against Chuck Schumer, and they've propped up AOC in the process because they say AOC is going to challenge Chuck Schumer's Senate seat the next time he's up.
I'll tell you, the message they tried really hard to get across, and they've been doing this for about 3 weeks now, is if the Republicans shut down the government, of course it's the Republicans doing it, then your health care costs across the country are going to go up. Now, they were keeping it very broad on purpose because they didn't want you to really think about it, and people were like, oh, man, what does that mean? They were talking specifically about Obamacare subsidies for people who don't have the ability to buy health insurance. Mm-hmm. They were just talking about those subsidies. And so that's the only message that they've tried to get across, is that we want to save your health care, which is not true. But they do want to add to Obamacare. So that's the one thing. That's the only message I can find in anything they're pitching.
In 2008, when Barack Obama was running for the presidency, and in 2010, when the Affordable Care Act passed in Obama's first term, we spent probably 3 years leading up to 2010, maybe 4 years, where healthcare was like the leading problem that needed to be solved. Which is really kind of saying something, because that was the same decade as September 11th. We had the war on terror. We had a great fracture in the American public, completely unified on September 12th, and then war and division, which is a natural thing that's going to happen. But when President Obama came on the scene and he started shifting talk away. I mean, think about the positivity that he brought in his messaging away from a war-torn Republican Party. I mean, he was the president for like a minute when September happened. Like September 11th happened. I think sometimes I forget that he was inaugurated on January 21st. September 11th happened that September.
Yeah.
That's
8 months.
That's wild. Imagine Donald Trump as an outsider coming in, having something of that magnitude happening and having to handle it. So whatever George W. Bush thought his presidency was going to be, scratch that. Mm-hmm. It became September 11th and on. When Barack Obama comes on the scene, he starts talking about hope and change. Boy, that sounds really good after you've been dealing with war for a long time. And healthcare being the main issue that was talked about, which led us to the Affordable Care Act, which was essentially a tax on all of the American people. Just ask the Supreme Court. That's the only way it became constitutional. All we complain about is healthcare. Now, from a bipartisan standpoint, it's one of the most bipartisanly frustrating topics that exist in political conversation. Nobody likes the healthcare system. Nobody likes what the insurance companies have done to the system. And guess what the Affordable Care Act did? It forced you to have to get insurance. So instead of forcing insurance companies to go to Americans and say, we'd love to compete for your business, they didn't have to compete for the business because Barack Obama said, no, you have to pay them or we're going to fine you. We're going to tax you. So you took the competitive nature out of what insurance companies have to do. And now the American people, we're not something that needs to be earned. We're something that's just delivered. So here we are in 2025 talking about health insurance once again, talking about the needs of the American people. And the Democrats' issue is health care for people who are not here legally. It's like, oh, you almost had it. You were so close. We're going to take a quick break here. Governor Mike Kehoe, governor of the state of Missouri, is going to join us when we return, and we are going to discuss with him a few key important issues, but of course, what has been done in the state of Missouri to protect Missourians, benchmark for the rest of the country, for sure. Governor Mike Kehoe next.
I know that I've seen better days. 1 foot in the hole, 1 foot getting deeper. Crank it to 11, blow another speaker in.
HomeShieldFoundationRepairs.com is the website. If your basement is starting to leak, if when the rain comes, we've had some dry days, the rain comes pouring in and that water finds its way into your basement. Don't fret when the forecast isn't in your favor. Call HomeShieldFoundationRepairs.com right now and start the conversation about having them come out, run an assessment on your home, and making sure that with a comprehensive inspection of your basement, experts can come carefully assess your situation and give you the solutions that you need. The number to call, Matt Hayes, local guy, expert at making sure your basement is waterproofed. Call 314-227-9636. That's 314-227-9636. It's Home Shield Foundation Repair, a local company, and they are excited to get to the problem that you have in your basement and a solution in waterproofing. They're the best at it, and they're a phone call away. 314-227-9636, HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com.
We, without hesitation, recommend that anybody work with ThrottleNet. The experience will be as good as it's been for us, for anybody, because you'll get a true partnership and you'll be able to rest easy that you're going to get the service that you need while they're also doing all those things that you don't want to have to think about, that you don't want to have to worry about. They're always doing that in the background for you.
Don't wait for your next IT crisis. If your business depends on technology, you need a partner that's got your back. Contact ThrottleNet.com to get a free IT evaluation and see how we can support your IT everything.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. If you're a renter, make sure you're protected. Renter's insurance includes options that cover stolen property, personal injury, and living expenses if your place is damaged. Quote Renter's Insurance at Progressive.com.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Sing my share of broken halo.
We're for freedom. If you want to drink a Coke, you ought to be able to do it. But the American taxpayer should not be paying for it. Diabetes, when I was a kid, the average pediatrician would see one case of diabetes during an entire 40 or 50-year career. Today, 38% of teens are pre-diabetic or diabetic. And so 1 out of every 3 kids, more than 1 out of every 3 kids who walks through his office door is now a pre-diabetic or diabetic. And this is the biggest cause. And, and one of the reasons for that is because we're poisoning kids with food stamp program. I think it's 18% of the food stamp program when it goes to candies or sodas. 10% go to sugar sodas. And so we're poisoning the poorest Americans, giving them diabetes, and then we're paying for it with Medicaid in the long run.
Well, there you have RFK Jr. talking about the SNAP program and the problems that exist with how it is set up right now. And we are very excited to welcome Governor Mike Kehoe onto the Annie Fry Show. Governor, thank you for the time today. It's good to have you back.
Annie, I'm great to be on with you. Are you considering my offer at the end of last show to move you over to Missouri?
I was thinking about it last night, actually. You guys just
Okay.
You continue to do
My
this right smart
friends
things.
in St. Louis got really excited. My dealer friends up there are all wanting to give you trucks. So I'm just saying, if it ever comes to fruition, we're ready to go. Thank you for having Secretary Kennedy's soundbite on. It's a very accurate soundbite.
Yeah, you're going to be one of my first phone calls if that move ends up having to be made. I would be happy to let the governor know.
I'm here for you.
I want to talk about you following the administration's lead and listening to the words there of Bobby Kennedy about our SNAP program, the health program. Missouri is doing something about us. Tell us about your adjustment, refocusing of the SNAP program in the state of Missouri.
Sure. We've asked for a waiver that would allow the SNAP program obviously to continue, but would not be eligible to use for non-essential kind of sugary items. Many other states have asked for the same waiver. And by the way, it's nonpartisan. Democrat and Republican states have had. And it's like Secretary Kennedy said, if you want to go buy a sugary drink or a candy bar or whatever, that's great. You should be able to do that. But you shouldn't have taxpayer dollars paying for those things. And so his point is right, because if you do develop diabetes or you do develop unhealthy conditions and you're in a family that needs assistance from the government, we're going to pay for the health care through Medicaid again. So it makes sense. It's the neighbors out. That's what the SNAP program is for. This opens up opportunities additionally for farmers markets and other things that folks can use their SNAP cards for. We think helping Missouri's farmers. So we're very excited to kind of say, let's keep people healthy and let's make sure taxpayers aren't footing the bill for things that could cause other health problems down the road.
You're listening to Governor Mike Kehoe on the adjustments, the refocusing of the SNAP program here in the state of Missouri. A couple questions specifically on the funding of the program. Does the funding change at all? Is there any less money going into the program with these adjustments, or any more money going in? Because sometimes healthy food costs more.
It could cost more, but I would tell you and this is an existing program we have out there, we have a dollar-for-dollar credit on farmers market use. So if you're using your SNAP card at a farmer's market and you spend $1, you can get $1 to spend at another store. And there's some parameters around that program, but I'd encourage folks to look into how that works and try to exercise that. By the way, there's some healthy food that could cost more, but there's a lot of healthy food that doesn't cost more than a candy bar or something with sugar in it. So we think it's a common sense move, and it's a move that Missourians would agree with going forward on.
I think it's a smart move, and just a general, it is so difficult, Governor. I've got 4 kids myself. I'm trying to feed them healthy foods. You find yourself investing in foods that you think are health foods, and then you realize, nope, that's not what we're supposed to be feeding them to begin with. There's so many chemicals and processed natures to all the foods that we're giving our kids and have been eating ourselves as a millennial myself. I've been raised on processed foods, basically. What else can Missouri do? You're talking about farmers. I'm hearing a lot of talk in the last 48 hours about farm to table. What kind of strength does Missouri have in this lane to prop up our farmers and also provide at the same time healthy, truly healthy food for the people who consume them?
Well, all across Missouri, including on the east side, there in your region, we have incredible farmers markets that folks can take advantage of. And, a lot of these are small family farms that might not be the thousands of acres, might just be an acre or two. They're growing different fruits and vegetables, different products that they can offer. A lot of farmers markets offer healthy grains as well as breads and different things like that. So you can take advantage of that and help Missourians out, help farmers out as well, and keep your family healthy. And I think that's a win-win for Missourians as we do that.
Certainly is. I want to shift topics here. We're speaking with Governor Mike Kehoe, the governor of the state of Missouri, of course, about Missouri, the relationship with the National Guard and ICE. Of course, we're seeing things taking place in Portland, obviously Chicago. We've seen ICE movement throughout the course of the country. What is happening here in the state of Missouri, and what kind of cooperation are you having with the federal law enforcement agencies to make sure that Missourians are safe?
Sure. Well, there's two, as you know. Public safety was our number one issue we had in the session this year. A lot of great folks in the St. Louis area, Nick Shore, Brad Christ, in the Senate House passed one of the most sweeping public safety bills the state of Missouri has ever seen. So public safety is a huge issue to us. But there's two issues that people are kind of running together. One is our involvement with our National Guard to help ICE on some of their clerical technical issues, not necessarily going out on the street with ICE agents, but just providing some back-end support so more agents can actually be on the street. And then the other issue that you've seen some National Guard use for, President Trump has really done a good job with Washington, D.C. I was physically there Monday night and Tuesday, just yesterday, and I can tell you that the Uber drivers, the folks up and down the street, they're saying left and right, we have never seen this kind of activity walking around. Washington, D.C. is alive again. He's done a great job of making sure people are secure. And so the president's very, very, very focused on, and I would agree with, making sure our cities are safe so that people can go out. Nobody likes taxes, but everybody would agree one of the core uses of taxes is to keep you safe in your neighborhood. So there have been some cities, you've seen them mention Memphis, where they're going to do some National Guard work there for community safety. And keeping our community safe, I think, is the number one priority we should have for our families across the nation, including here in Missouri.
Yeah, well, certainly here where 97.1 reaches, at least with our terrestrial signal, of course, the Odyssey app can have 97.1 streamed anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world. But we've heard President Trump from the Oval Office when discussing making cities safe again. St. Louis keeps coming up, Governor. And every time I hear that, I think, gosh, what is that going to mean? You would have a role in partnering with the federal government if something were going to happen here in St. Louis. Is there a need? Do you see one?
Well, I will tell you that St. Louis has come up. There's been no official conversations. I'm thankful that the president understands how important it is to keep our cities safe. But as you know, we've done some things on our own before the federal government had to get involved, and I think that's what states' rights should do. We want to take the lead on this and support what President Trump wants to do and keep our communities safe. I just mentioned the crime bill we passed in record time this year. A lot of tools in there for law enforcement, including the city of St. Louis. You've had a change in your prosecutor with Gabe Gore, who's made a huge difference. And then, of course, as you know, part of that crime bill had St. Louis citizens that were appointed by our office, by myself, to be on the police board to support Chief Tracy and the men and women in blue who have been doing this for years but have been under kind of a political thumb with the previous administration, I will say. And this gives us a new chance to really prove what St. Louis can do. And we're making great strides in that. We're going to continue to make great strides. And last but not least, one of the first things I did when I got sworn in as governor, I signed an order for our Operation Relentless Pursuit. We call it ORP. Everything's got an alphabet in government, but it combines U.S. Marshals, Highway Patrol, local police, in your case, it could be St. Louis City, St. Louis County, et cetera, to go in and issue outstanding warrants of the worst offenders across our state. We've issued we've cleared over 1,400 warrants, and we're about to hit 1,000 arrests in that. So we've done a lot of things that the president has had the guard to do in Washington, D.C. We've already started to do here in Missouri and specifically in St. Louis, and we want to continue to make sure we carry our own weight and get after it the best way we can and keep our community safe.
I want to ask one last question before we let you go here. We're speaking with the governor of the state of Missouri, Governor Mike Kehoe. When I know that there's been an FBI partnership to try to go into the city of St. Louis to make it safer. I've noticed specifically on Tucker, on my way in from the Stan Musial Bridge, there's a beautiful new police station precinct or whatever it might be on the corner there. But I also understand when I drive into St. Louis, somebody who comes here every day, I drive past a pretty large tent city homeless encampment. There are people who are on that street, and I don't drive all the way to Market. I don't even get all the way downtown. There are people who are obviously very high intoxicated on something. And right next to the Board of Elections, this just kind of bothers me significantly every day I drive past it. It's the Board of Elections building right there at the end of Tucker and Olive. The entire parking garage attached to it is covered in an enormous amount of graffiti, insulting to police officers. And I'm just wondering, who's responsible for anybody who's driving into the city when they see this? Is this like the presentation that St. Louis wants to have? Is there a way to clean it up? And whose responsibility ultimately is it to see to it that we present ourselves in a safer, better way than this?
Well, let me unpack a few things there. First of all, with the FBI's involvement, we're super happy Kash Patel has made a statement. He's going to get FBI officers out of the D.C. offices and out into the communities, St. Louis being one of them. A huge credit to Senator Eric Schmitt, who really worked with Director Patel and made sure that St. Louis had additional resources deployed there. Of course, now we have our very own Andrew Bailey, who was the Attorney General for so many years and did a great job, is number 2 at the FBI. We think for Missouri that really plays a vital role. So we're happy to have extra resources in law enforcement with the FBI. We welcome them, and we will be deploying them with our local law enforcement community. As far as the kind of the tent city and the graffiti, those are things that we've got to work with together with Chief Tracy, with Mayor Spencer, and try to make sure that you're right. You don't want that to be the opening, salvo of what somebody sees when they come into the city. In Mayor Spencer's offense, 32 days in the office, EF3 tornado comes through and takes out much of the North St. Louis, including close to areas where I grew up. So they've got their hands full, but I know she's trying to get her arms around what they need to do to tackle that. I know crime has been the number one issue for the chief and his command staff. As I mentioned, they've done a great job. They're going to continue to do that. But I'd like to think that it will help all we can when we're asked, because we're not going to just come and force ourselves into any situation there. To make sure we get the priorities becomes where we can get some of those areas cleaned up. And it's as me as a St. Louisan, born and raised, I know exactly where that corner is. I agree with you. We need to get that cleaned up, and I'm hopeful we can get that done.
Well, I appreciate that response. It's just something I think about, and I know how beautiful this city is and how great of a city it is, and I just want it to shine and welcome people into it to shop, to work, to visit, whatever it might be. Governor Kehoe, we appreciate you and your time. Thank you for being with us here today.
Appreciate you having me on. Don't forget my offer. Thank you so much, and have a great day.
You bet. I will not forget it. Take care. Bye-bye.
Yep.
Let's take a quick break here. When we come back, we're going to listen to J.D. Vance. He's at the podium at the White House press briefing, and he's talking about the government shutdown. We'll hear from J.D. Vance when we return. Don't go away.
Stop just trying to paint and patch up the outside of your home. It's time to give it a permanent upgrade with James Hardie fiber cement siding from Lakeside Renovation and Design. This siding is designed to stand up to all the crazy weather we get here in Missouri, and it looks fantastic. Lakeside is a James Hardie elite preferred contractor. Whole team, by the way, is in-house, and they're going to take care of all the details, the color, the trim, everything to customize it to your home, to take the stress off of your plate. If your home is showing any signs of wear, it's time to take the next step. Visit lakesiderd.com.
Did you
know that 60% of adults over 20 avoid going to the dentist due to deep fear of dental treatment? Knowing that many of our chronic health problems can be directly related to the harmful bacteria in our mouth, not going to the dentist can be very dangerous. Hi, this is Dr. Michael White. I've been helping the dental anxiety patient for over 20 years with anxiety-free sedation. This is very effective and very affordable. Call my office at 314-270-8552. That's 314-270-8552.
Kids don't always like to get school report cards, but they are important and helpful. They document subjects where they're strong and others where they need to show some improvement. Ever wonder why you don't get a report on how your child's school compares to others? At the Show Me Institute, we think you should, and that's why we've started the Missouri School Rankings Project. Click on the website moschoolrankings.org, and it's all there. Rankings and letter grades for all the schools in Missouri. The rankings are based on several categories, such as student performance in English, language arts, and math, ACT scores, and graduation rates. Then we take the rankings and come up with a grade point average, just like your child has. Each school and district will have a grade, and the website is easy to use. Don't you want to know how your child's school stacks up? Now you can. Learn more at showmeinstitute.org. The Show Me Minute has been brought to you by Show Me Institute and Show Me Opportunity.
This is Justin Brown with Krinz Financial Group. For over 6 decades, we've helped St. Louis families and businesses plan with purpose and live with confidence. As retirement approaches, one question matters most. How will you replace your paycheck? With decades of experience, we've helped retirees turn uncertainty into clarity through personalized income planning and steady guidance. Our proactive strategies are designed so you can enjoy the retirement you worked your lifetime for, with clarity, confidence, and peace of mind. Your goals, our mission. Start today at kfgadvisors.com.
Securities offered through Raymond James Financial Services. Member FINRA/SIPC. Krinz Financial Group is not a broker-dealer.
Hey, this is Lisa Stofan. Heard the Mark Patrick weight loss hypnosis hype? Well, I attended because my father stopped smoking with hypnosis. Hypnosis eliminated my desire for soda and fast food, made me want to exercise, and I lost 60 pounds in 6 months. My energy level exploded. I went to another session to deal with some other problem foods, and I lost another 10 pounds. In fact, I brought my husband. He lost weight. More important, cholesterol and blood pressure improved. My friend went and she lost 20 pounds in the first 2 months. So does Mark Patrick hypnosis work? Oh yeah, it works. Nothing has changed my life more. Well, except maybe my husband. He's so proud of me, makes me cry.
Now that you've heard it, what are you waiting for? Join Mark Patrick seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking. Guaranteed early bird specials $49.99. That's right, weight loss seminar, Saturday, October 18th at the Marriott St. Louis West in St. Louis at 11 a.m. Registration at 10:30 a.m. Stop smoking seminar 2 p.m. Registration at 1:30 p.m. Sign up at markpatrickseminars.com.
If you're unfamiliar with the Annie Fry Show, one of the things that we do every day is called the YouTube live chat poll. It is a question that we ask you, and it's about a topic, different one every day. Today, it is America getting back to cultural normal? Yes, no, or there is no normal? Those are your options, and you can leave a comment. You can vote, of course, but also leave a comment like Joe did. He says, normal is subjective and constantly morphing, so every moment is normal. Or I would argue the opposite of that. But you can let us know what your opinion on this topic is. Is America getting back to cultural normal by logging on to YouTube and typing in Annie Fry, and then you can vote there. 12:35. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
I put a spell on you. And now you're mine. You can't stop the things I do.
This has nothing to do with JD.
I ain't lying.
You a Hocus Pocus fan?
No.
Are you opposed to Hocus Pocus?
I've never seen it, and yes, I'm opposed to it.
I think that if you watched Hocus Pocus, you would appreciate the 90s-ness of it.
Oh, I'm sure I would now. Yeah, there's music like that I didn't like at the time that now I'm like, oh, okay. It's a period piece.
That's your idol, Bette Midler.
Oh, no. I think you are mistaken.
Sarah Jessica Parker?
You have me.
The one with the boobs?
Oh, in that movie, does she?
Have boobs?
I mean, they all do, but...
Oh, do they?
But hers are more prominent.
It's weird how Brad just took over that conversation there.
Interesting about that movie. Maybe I will give that movie a watch.
JD Vance at the press briefing at the White House talking about anything other than this, probably a government shutdown. Let's listen.
Well, thank you, Carolina, and good afternoon to everybody, and good afternoon to everybody who's watching at home. It's a tough act to follow, but let me just say a few things, and then I'll take a few questions. Number one, Democrats say that they care a lot about lowering health care costs, and yet, when the president took historic action to work with the drug companies to lower prescription drug prices, the Democrats did nothing to help us. In fact, we would have loved to have the Democrats helping us, but they didn't. They talk about doing something. They don't actually do the hard work of making it happen. What they have done instead is to shut down the government because we won't give billions of dollars to health care funding for illegal aliens. That is what has actually happened. To the American people who are watching, the reason your government is shut down at this very minute is because, despite the fact that the overwhelming majority of congressional Republicans and even a few moderate Democrats supported opening the government, the Chuck Schumer AOC wing of the Democratic Party shut down the government because they said to us, we will open the government, but only if you give billions of dollars of funding for health care for illegal aliens. That's a ridiculous proposition. Let me say two other quick things, and then again, I'll take some questions. Number one, we all understand that Democrats and Republicans have policy disagreements. The Democrats want to do things. Look, when Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries were in here a couple of days ago, they made some suggestions that the president was more than happy to say, yes, let's sit down and talk about how we can solve the health care crisis that we inherited from the Biden administration. But it's one thing to say that we should solve the health care crisis for Americans. It's another thing to say that we're going to shut down the government unless we give the Democrats every single thing that they want, which, as Caroline says, includes giving billions of dollars of taxpayer funding for health care for illegal migrants. That's ridiculous. You don't have policy disagreements that serve as the basis for a government shutdown. Let's have the conversation about how to fix American health care, about how to make health care more accessible. As the president showed, he's more than willing to act on behalf of the American people for this very reason. What you don't do is say, unless you do exactly what we want to do as congressional Democrats, we're taking hostage. And the hostage, it turns out, is critical, essential services that the American people need. Caroline talked about some of it. Let me talk about some more. Our troops are not getting paid starting today because of the Chuck Schumer wing of the Democratic Party. We have people who require food assistance, low-income Americans who require food assistance, who will not get it unless we reopen the government, thanks to Chuck Schumer and his wing of the Democratic Party. We have flood insurance as we start hurricane season in the southeastern part of our country. That flood insurance is going to disappear because of Chuck Schumer and the far left of the Democratic Party. We need to reopen the government. Let's fix America's problems. Let's work together to solve them. But let's reopen the government before we have our negotiation about health care policy. That's what the American people demand, and that's certainly what the President of the United States wants. Let me make one final point. I think a lot of Americans are asking themselves, why did this happen? Why did the Democrats shut down the government despite, as Caroline said, voting on the exact same piece of legislation 6 months ago? And there are a lot of different spins that we can put on it, a lot of different answers that we could give, all of them true. One answer I already gave is that they want to give health care benefits to illegal aliens. That is true. They gave us legislative text that would have undone us cutting off health care benefits for illegal aliens. That's one of the things that they asked for. But the reality here, and let's be honest about the politics, is that Chuck Schumer is terrified she's going to get a primary challenge from Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. The reason why the American people's government is shut down is because Chuck Schumer is listening to the far left radicals in his own party because he's terrified of a primary challenge. So I'd invite Chuck Schumer to join the moderate Democrats and 52 Senate Republicans, do the right thing, open up the people's government, and then let's fix health care policy for the American people. Questions?
Mr. Vice President.
That's a lot. Matt Boyle.
Okay. Mr. Vice President, there's two key Democrat lies I would like to get your take on and see if you can address. The first is that you're seeing a number of top Democrat leaders, from Kamala Harris and Chuck Schumer to Hakeem Jeffries, claim that it is a Republican shutdown caused by Trump. The second is that they're out there now claiming that they don't want to give health care to illegal aliens. Can you address both of those lies from the Democrat Party?
Yeah, so on the point that it's a Republican shutdown, look, it's obviously a Democratic shutdown. Just look at the vote totals in the House, look at the vote totals in the Senate, and look at the President of the United States' own action and conduct throughout this crisis. Nearly every single House Republican voted to open the government, Matt. nearly every single Senate Republican voted to open the government last night, and even to their credit, a few moderate Democrats voted to open the government. That's not a Republican shutdown when nearly every single Senate Democrat votes to shut it down and every Republican voted to open it up. It's just obviously not true. Now, you can disagree about a number of things, but you can't disagree about the obvious fact that Republicans voted to open the government. The president stands ready to sign that opening of the government. We just need a few more Democrats to join us in that effort to open the government. Your final question about illegal alien benefits. Look, the text is very clear, and I even saw, I think it was George Stephanopoulos in an interview with Mike Johnson, did a fact check that was totally rooted in baseless claims. It was basically Democrat propaganda. If you look at the legislative text that they gave us, they tried to turn on two separate provisions that would give health care benefits to illegal aliens. Number one, if you're an American citizen, you've been to a hospital in the last few years, you probably noticed that wait times are especially large, and very often somebody who's there in the emergency room waiting is an illegal alien, very often a person who can't even speak English. Why do those people get health care benefits at hospitals paid for by American citizens? The answer is a decision made by the Biden administration that the Trump administration, working with congressional Republicans, undid. We turned off that money spigot to health care funding for illegal aliens. The Democrats, in their legislative text, want to turn it back on. That's one thing. The second thing, Matt, is we all know that there are various ways in which the Biden administration waived away illegal immigration status. They gave parolees, they gave asylum claims to people who weren't really claiming asylum. And when they waved the magic wand of amnesty, giving millions of people legal status even though they were in the country illegally, they also gave those people access to health care benefits. So what the Democrats are engaging in is a sleight of hand. They're saying, no. Those weren't illegal aliens who were getting health care benefits, even though everybody, knows they were in the country illegally. It's a lie told by the Democrats that they're not trying to give health care benefits to illegal aliens. It's a lie that is obviously untrue if you just look at the text that they gave us, and all you have to do is understand that this is about who benefits. We think the American people's government ought to benefit American citizens. The Democrats are willing to shut it down to benefit illegal aliens. The contrast couldn't be more clear. Peter.
Thank you, Vice President Vance. The big holdup is, of course, that you guys say illegal immigrants are getting taxpayer-funded health care. Democrats say you're lying. That makes it feel like it could be a really long shutdown. Is this going to be a long shutdown?
I don't know. I can't predict what congressional Democrats are going to do, Peter, but I actually don't think it's going to be that long of a shutdown. This is a pure guess from the Vice President of the United States because I think you already saw some evidence that moderate Democrats are cracking a little bit. They understand the fundamental illogic of this. Look, for years, every single one of us, we can remember Barack Obama on the White House lawn. We can remember Chuck Schumer. We can remember, Nancy Pelosi for years. In Chuck Schumer's case, for literally decades, we've heard them say, you don't shut the government down over a policy disagreement. Okay, Republicans think this thing about health care, that thing about health care. Democrats think this thing about immigration. Republicans disagree. Whatever those disagreements are, you don't shut down the government over it. For the first time since the Democrats have been in politics, they're now saying that unless we get every policy item that we demand, we're going to shut down the people's government. They're trying to take a hostage, and we're not going to let them.
And the administration announced today that $18 billion bound for New York transportation projects is going to be frozen so it can't go to DEI programs there. But the timing of this, does announcing that today mean that you guys are going to squeeze Chuck Schumer's home state until he blinks?
Look, I haven't talked to Russ about this morning, but look, I'm sure that Russ is heartbroken about the fact that he's unable to give certain things to certain constituencies. We want to do everything that we can to help the American people, but when the Democrats shut down the government, we have to actually do a little triage to make sure the most critical and most essential services are provided. The government does a lot of things. Of course, Republicans think that the federal government probably does too much, but there are a lot of critical things the federal government does that absolutely all of us would agree need to do. Our troops need to get paid. Our air traffic controllers need to make sure that people are flying safely and on time. We need low-income people to be able to access the food services that are provided by the federal government. There are critical things that need to be saved. We're going to do everything that we can over the coming weeks, if the shutdown lasts that long, to ensure that people get the essential services that they need, despite the fact that Chuck Schumer has shut down the federal government. It's not going to be perfect because we are in a government shutdown. We are going to have to lay some people off if the shutdown continues. We don't like that. We don't necessarily want to do it, but we're going to do what we have to keep the American people's essential services continuing to run. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President, and thank you for being here. Yesterday, President Trump said, as a result of the shutdown, we'll be laying off a lot of people that are going to be very affected, and the Democrats, they are going to be Democrats. Has the administration asked agencies to target federal workers who they believe to be Democrats in these reductions of forces?
We're not targeting federal agencies based on politics. We're targeting the people's government so that as much as possible of the essential services can continue to function. That is the question the president has asked the entire government, is fundamentally, okay, we're in a shutdown. That causes some problems. The troops aren't getting paid. There's nothing that we can do about that while the government is shut down. But there are essential services that we want to make sure as much as possible they still continue to function. That is the principle that's driving us forward during this shutdown. It's going to continue to be the principle that drives us forward. But let's be honest. If this thing drags on for another few days or, God forbid, another few weeks, we are going to have to lay people off. We're going to have to save money in some places so the essential services don't get turned off in other places. That is the reality of the government shutdown that Chuck Schumer and the Democrats have foisted upon the administration.
So what did
Phil.
he mean by they're going to be Democrats? He said they're going to be Democrats.
You've laid out a lot of the pain and problems that would come with a Democratic shutdown, and yet in the Oval Office yesterday, the president said that a lot of good could come from a shutdown. So square that circle. Which is it, a Democratic-caused crisis or a Republican opportunity for reform?
Well, I think all the president is saying, Phil, is that he wants to make sure the American people's government functions as well as it can, despite the fact that we're in a shutdown. We're going to have to make things work. And that means that we're going to have to triage some certain things. That means certain people are going to have to get laid off. And we're going to try to make sure that the American people suffer as little as possible from this shutdown. That's what the president is saying, is that, yes, this is a bad thing. Obviously, the president is trying to reopen the government, but we're going to make things work as well as we possibly can, given the constraints that we have.
And then on those policy differences for the discussion and the negotiations to come later, during the Biden administration, Democrats twice voted to expand these Affordable Care Act tax credits. But those were supposed to be temporary, and they were slated to expire at the end of the year. As you sort of crack the door open to negotiation at a later date, would the party that ran on defunding Obamacare really negotiate about potentially expanding Obamacare?
Well, Phil, what we've said to the Democrats is that we're willing to have a conversation about how to ensure that Americans continue to have access to health care, and frankly, they should have access to better health care at a lower cost. We inherited a mess of a health care system from the Biden administration. It's why the president has worked so hard on the most favored nation status for prescription drugs. It's why we care so much about lowering the cost of prescriptions and why we're doing everything else. We're willing to have that conversation, but I think it's important to bracket the health care policy conversation because it's separate from the government shutdown. We think that we can open the government and then have the conversation about what best healthcare policy to fit the needs of the American people. That's all we're trying to do. That's all we're trying to accomplish. We've got to reopen the government first. Now, Caroline, I don't know how you do this, how you actually choose people, because I don't know 90% of the names in here. Is it just who's the best dressed? Okay, I really like your shirt. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. You are President of the Senate. Can you talk about what you're doing, what the administration is doing to try to get other Senate Democrats to vote to open the government?
Yeah, we're talking to a number of our colleagues, Democratic and Republican, in the Senate. I talked to a number of them last night. The president, of course, is talking to them as well. I think there really are two categories of demands that I've seen privately from congressional Democrats. I think on the one hand, those who are negotiating in good faith are saying, look, we just want to make sure that we're able to have a conversation with the administration about some of the critical needs that we see that need to get fixed over the next few months. We recognize it's kind of absurd, and a lot of them will admit in private that it's kind of absurd to shut down the people's government over these disagreements, but just agree to negotiate with us in good faith on these issues, and of course we're having that conversation with them. Then there's another category, people who say, give us everything we want or we're going to keep the government shut down. We just write those people off because they're not negotiating in good faith. And frankly, we don't need them. We've already got 3 more Democrats last night than I thought we would get. And I think it's because they recognize the illogic of the position of taking the entire American economy hostage because they don't get their policy priorities. So 3 moderate Democrats joined 52 Republicans last night. We need 5 more in order to reopen the government. And that's really where we're going to focus, is how to get those 5 additional Democrats.
Thanks, Mr. Vice President. First 2 questions. Are there plans to meet Democratic leaders again in the coming days, or are you planning on plucking off senators one by one?
So that's the whole question?
No, I got a second part.
Okay, go ahead and ask the second question.
So the president's been posting some images of Leader Jeffries and Senator Schumer.
I saw.
Recently. You've said that you're interested in good faith negotiations with these leaders, but what message does that send? Is it helpful to post pictures of Leader Jeffries in a sombrero if you're trying to have good faith talks with him?
Oh, I think it's funny. The president's joking, and we're having a good time. You can negotiate in good faith while also poking a little bit of fun at some of the absurdities of the Democrats' positions, and even, poking some fun at the absurdity of the Democrats themselves. I mean, I'll tell Hakeem Jeffries right now, I make this solemn promise to you that if you help us reopen the government, the sombrero memes will stop. And I've talked to the President of the United States about that. Now, to your first question, are we negotiating one-on-one? Are we negotiating in groups? Look, I will go to the U.S. Capitol right now and meet with Chuck Schumer or any Senate Democrat if it helps us reopen the government. Most of the conversations, in my experience at least, have been one-off. We're also, of course, relying on some of our Senate Republican colleagues who have good relationships across the aisle. We're going to do whatever we have to do is the answer. And I think it's tough to predict what shape this negotiation is going to take over the next few months. But I feel good about the fact that Democrats already realize privately the fundamental irrationality of their position. I hope that they're going to publicly acknowledge it and reopen the government. Right in the back, yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. You responded to a post on X of Chuck Schumer on the House floor back in 1996, railing against illegal immigrants receiving taxpayer-funded benefits. You said Chuck Schumer once recognized that it was disastrous to give illegal aliens rewards for breaking the law. Now he wants to shut down the government unless we reward illegal aliens for breaking the law. Why has Chuck Schumer changed his stance?
That's a good question. Actually, it's a very tough question. Asking me to get in the head of Chuck Schumer is not a place I particularly want to be, but my basic read on it is that the entire Democratic Party, the political leadership, not every Democrat nationwide, but the political leadership of their party has got it into their heads that the only way to be compassionate is to be compassionate to illegal aliens rather than American citizens. If you go back to what Bill Clinton was saying, even Barack Obama in some cases, what he was saying about illegal immigration 10, 15, 20 years ago, you would put them on the MAGA right based purely on their rhetoric around illegal immigration. So I don't know why they've gone so far to the left. I think it's bad for the country. I think it's bad for them politically. But our principle, all I can do is speak for the president that I serve and the country, the administration that I serve right now. We believe that the American people's government exists for the American people. That means the people who have the legal right to be here, and that's why we're fighting to reopen the government. And unfortunately, the Democrats are fighting to shut it down for the benefit of illegal aliens. And I'll take a couple more, and then I'll let Caroline. I'll go back to my day job so Caroline can go back to hers. All right. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. Just going back to the sombrero. You said that the president is joking, but Hakeem Jeffries says that these memes were racist. What's your response to that? And just if I may briefly go off topic, Secretary Hegseth yesterday made an edict about no more beardos in the military. Just wondered what.
Sorry, what did he say?
No more beardos.
Beards.
Oh, sorry, that's my accent. Just wondered your response to that.
I didn't see that particular comment. I thought Pete gave a hell of a speech, and a speech that really is just oriented around returning the American military to the very high standards that it has had for virtually its entire history until Joe Biden came along and decided to lower standards. I think it was bad for our military, and it was bad for our troops. When I was a young United States Marine, I did not have a beard. I am now the vice president, so I get to do what I want to do. But I think Pete's trying to re-implement high standards, and that's a very good thing. On the sombrero thing, I mean, Hakeem Jeffries said it was racist, and I know that he said that, and I honestly don't even know what that means. Like, is he a Mexican American that is offended by having a sombrero meme? I mean, I saw one of the major TV stations put the meme up and then say, this is AI generated. And he had like the curly animated mustache too. It's like, do you really not realize the American people recognize that he did not actually come to the White House wearing a sombrero and a black curly animation mustache? Like, give the country a little bit of credit. We're all trying to do a very important job for the American people. The President of the United States likes to have a little bit of fun when he's doing it, and I think that's okay. I'll take one more question.
Mr. Vice President, in every previous shutdown, workers have been furloughed, not laid off. So why does the president want to fire some workers and not just furlough them? Why is this shutdown any different?
Well, first of all, we haven't made any final decisions about what we're going to do with certain workers. What we're saying is that we might have to take extraordinary steps, especially the longer this goes on. We're going to have to take extraordinary measures to ensure the people's government operates, again, not perfectly, because it's not going to operate perfectly in the midst of a shutdown, but operate as well as it possibly can. And I think that the Democrats, if they're so worried about the effect this is having on the American people, and they should be, what they should do is reopen the government, not complain about how we respond to the fact that Chuck Schumer and the Democrats have shut down the government in the first place. Thank you all. Carolina.
J.D. Vance, the Vice President of the United States. I'd be remiss if I didn't just go ahead and throw this up here for our entertainment right now. In context, there's nothing about this I can't play on the radio, right?
Bigotry will get you nowhere. We are fighting to protect the health care of the American people in the face of an unprecedented Republican assault.
That's from @real Donald Trump.
We're so bad.
It's I'm reporting the news. I'm reporting the news. Did you say 5850?
5850.
Is that a racist meme? This goes in perfectly to the YouTube poll for today.
Yeah, it does. Just because something is racial.
Just because something is just because it's
national,
not white.
Or not white, sure. It doesn't mean it's racist. It's like, I mean, I just went to Disney World. You know, you go through some of those rides in Epcot. There's a lot of nationality. There's a lot of race things.
It's called the World Showcase.
It's not racist. It's different countries. Like, there are backgrounds all over the world. And so I don't know. Hey, whatever. Like,
are you mad about it? Did you think about it and go like, I can't believe that this is, because there are people going, I can't believe that this is my president of the United States.
No, I'm not mad about it. Not about that.
Did it make you laugh?
Yeah. Especially that one, because there were two of them. That one was the funnier
and
one.
And J.D. Vance saying, the news had to tell us that this was AI generated. Somehow or another, he got Hakeem Jeffries gets his sombrero out and grows a mustache in 0.2 seconds. My goodness. Deroy Murdock and Senator Eric Schmitt in the next hour. Stay right here.
If you need a garage door, this could be your lucky day. Entries are open now for the $5,000 sweepstakes at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. A winner will be chosen at random to receive $5,000 towards new garage doors, openers, or front entry doors of your choice. Deadline to enter is the end of the month to win the $5,000 sweepstakes with Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Enter now at overheaddoorstlouis.com. You can't win if you don't enter at overheaddoorstlouis.com.
Major League Baseball realized they needed new rules to help grow and speed up the game. Your retirement strategy may also need updating to keep up with potential tax law changes, Social Security, or whatever curveball Uncle Sam throws your way. Call Ricken Financial for an initial no-cost portfolio x-ray. 314-207-6211. That's 314-207-6211 or online at rickenfinancial.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
They're stuck in the U.S. Senate. Lisa Brady, Fox News.
On this vote, the yeas are 55 and the nays are 45.
That was a Republican short-term spending bill falling 5 votes short of the 60 needed to end a government shutdown. A Democrat proposal also expected to fail again.
You don't have policy disagreements that serve as the basis for a government shutdown.
Vice President J.D. Vance in a surprise appearance during the White House briefing saying the Trump administration is committed to lowering health care costs and is willing to negotiate on Democrat concerns, but that the government has to reopen first. He also says layoffs are possible the longer the shutdown goes on.
And I think that the Democrats, if they're so worried about the effect this is having on the American people, and they should be, what they should do is reopen the government, not complain about how we respond to the fact that Chuck Schumer and the Democrats have shut down the government.
Well, Democrats call it a Republican shutdown and say Republicans are lying about Democrats wanting taxpayer-funded health care for illegal immigrants.
The reason that we are here today, Democrats, is we are fighting in D.C. to cancel the cuts, lower the costs, and save health care.
California Congressman Ted Lieu, Vice President Vance just telling reporters on the question of illegal immigrant health care, Democrats are using sleight of hand based on changes made under the Biden administration and the way immigration status is treated. The president needs a new person to lead a key Labor Department agency.
The White House withdrew the nomination of E.J. Antoni to lead the Bureau of Labor Statistics. The Bureau is in charge of compiling Labor Department data like the monthly jobs report. Antoni was nominated by President Trump following the ouster of the previous director, who the president accused of manipulating data following a large revision in the unemployment report.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. Antoni is the chief economist at the Conservative Heritage Foundation, raising concerns about independence at the agency. America's listening to Fox News.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Well, it doesn't really feel like the first afternoon of October, but at least our humidity levels are low. We're not tapping the Gulf of Mexico. Partly sunny skies. We should top out again close to 88 degrees. A good 10 to 12 degrees above average. Tonight, some clouds around 64. Thursday, sunny skies, 88. Instant replay on Friday, sunny and 88 degrees. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Annie Fry Show is sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Don't freeze as it gets colder. If your furnace isn't working, Air Comfort Service can get you back in your comfort zone fast with a service call for only $99. Get your furnace serviced. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
Annie Fry, Ryan Wiggins, Brad Ray.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride. What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
For the sake, kid, keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
As somebody who understands history, when I see ICE, I see slave patrols.
Donald Trump's modern-day Gestapo is scooping folks up off the streets.
Folks getting snatched off the street by secret police who are wearing masks.
Every single ICE agent who's engaged in this aggressive overreach and are trying to hide their identities from the American people will be unsuccessful in doing that.
I'll be signing a bill, the first in the nation, saying enough. To ICE, unmask. What are you afraid of? What are you afraid of?
Tragically now, the governor got his answer with anti-ICE rhetoric literally written on a shell casing.
So when you listen to Gavin Newsom say to ICE and repeat, what are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? Is it not clear what they would be afraid of?
It was clear before the most recent shooting because there had been others.
You'd have to specify when you say most recent shooting.
Oh, yeah, sorry. it's incredible in light of that. Still, hey, how about we do legislation that actually removes their anonymity and makes them more vulnerable?
I think the real question here is the folks on the left. That's a montage of people on the left who are speaking in a certain kind of way about ICE specifically. Do they know what they're doing? Is this an intentional incitement with chosen rhetoric? Let's ask our friend Deroy Murdock. He joins us once again, nationally syndicated columnist, Project 21 ambassador, and Fox News contributor. And I'm reading your piece right now, Deroy, in the Daily Signal about the way the left has been using their words in a way that certainly isn't calming the moment. Welcome back, Deroy. Thanks for being with us today.
Annie, great to talk to you. This piece is at the Daily Signal. Headline, Violent Democrat Left Aims to Melt ICE. And you're absolutely right about the rhetoric. We keep hearing, in the light of the assassination of Charlie Kirk, I guess 3 weeks ago today, if I'm remembering the dates correctly. And they see people on the right, you crazy conservatives and MAGA people need to cool the rhetoric and lower the volume and lower the temperature, et cetera, et cetera. And you've just played a little while ago for the listeners' edification some of these recordings from people like Gavin Newsom and people like House Democrat leader Hakeem Jeffries and others referring to these people as fascists, modern-day Gestapo. This incredible comment from Jasmine Crockett, when I see ICE, I see slave patrols. My God. So people hear this sort of thing, and there are a lot of people out there who are, unbalanced, barely hinged, hardly keeping it together, and they figure, well, if these people really are slave patrols, if they really are Gestapo agents, and of course Trump is Hitler, then the response is to get guns out and stop these people. And unfortunately, we saw just in Dallas a week ago, somebody up on a rooftop, not very much like Tyler Robinson, the alleged suspect in Charlie Kirk's assassination, up on a rooftop shooting at ICE agents. Now, he happened to be his bad luck and really bad luck for the people he hit. The people he hit were not ICE agents. They were illegal aliens who were being brought in. One died immediately. I believe another one passed away either overnight or today from those wounds. So this sort of thing is going on, and it's not an isolated incident. This sort of thing has been going on in Chicago at a facility they've got there. That one's been the subject of all kinds of violence at the Broadview Processing Center. You had people throwing tear gas cans, rocks, bottles, and fireworks, slashing tires. You've got another place in Alvarado, Texas. This was July 4th. They had a fully planned ambush on ICE agents where one person was sort of lured out into the crowd. Then they opened fire, 20 to 30 rounds shot at these people. One of them, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, was shot in the neck, of all places. I mean, this is really nasty stuff. And why should they possibly, what do they have to be afraid of? Yeah, what they have to be afraid of is exactly this, getting shot at work, being doxxed, that people showing up at their homes and attacking them, attacking their families, attacking their loved ones. So these people have a legitimate reason to be fearful. And the people who are just adding more and more gasoline to the fire are Democrat politicians, left-wing activists who are attacking these folks whose job is basically to enforce the law that's been passed by Congress, signed by the president. That's the way democracy works. And they're basically enforcing the laws that are passed by folks in D.C. And the thanks we get for that is increasing gunfire, increasing violence, and ever-growing risk to their lives.
We're speaking with Deroy Murdock, a nationally syndicated columnist. His piece currently in the Daily Signal, Violent Democrat Left Aims to Melt ICE. Leading up to our conversation here, and while we're talking to you, I've pulled up the September 1st, 2022, 3 years ago, the speech that Joe Biden gave in front of Independence Hall. And remarks by President Biden on the continued battle for the soul of the nation. And I searched MAGA Republican. That was my takeaway. That's what I remember from his speech. And the first time it comes up, I'm reading directly from the archives of Biden's White House. Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic. He goes on to talk about MAGA Republicans 10 times in that speech, and it's always associated with extremism. We're 3 years into this. The American people have had their say on how they feel about MAGA, about Donald Trump, who he repeatedly refers to as an extremist leader here. Is there extremism in MAGA Republican world right now? Is it to be found?
Look, when you're talking about 75 million people approximately who voted for Donald J. Trump, you're going to find some crazies out there. 75 million of any population, you're going to find pretty much whatever you want with that many people around. But, you look at the people who are using this kind of rhetoric and responding with violence, and they're overwhelmingly, in fact, almost completely on the left. I certainly in light of the Charlie Kirk assassination, there are a lot of people in MAGA Nation or Trump supporters who have been very upset and very angry and very frustrated by all this. And yet it's been 3 weeks now. I've not seen anybody getting on rooftops and shooting at people on the left. I've not seen people with MAGA hats going around and setting fires or slashing tires or breaking windows, any of that sort of thing. And when you see violence, political violence in this country, 9.5 times out of 10 or 9.9 out of 10, it's people on the left, not people on the right. I can't say that it's been zero on the right, but it's certainly far, far, far less. And you don't have people on the in the MAGA Nation using, the Hitler term, calling people, I guess Mao and Stalin and this sort of thing, maybe here and there in passing, but not like a constant, nonstop chant that will lead people on the right to think, well, this person's really like Joe Stalin, I need to go out and stop him, or whatever else it might be. It really is something very heavily concentrated on the left, and I can't imagine if something were to happen to a very popular activist on the left who somebody decided to kill, that you'd see people like you and me celebrating and going on social media and saying, yeah, it's good this person died, this person had it coming, or got killed and had it coming, and people going to the memorial for that person at the headquarters of that person's organization and kicking flowers and candles, across the sidewalk. I mean, I can't see people on the right doing that sort of thing. What they probably would do is, if not grieve for that person, at least, have the decency to keep their big mouths shut, which we've not seen the left able to do in the light of the death of Charlie Kirk. And in fact, I think it was just yesterday, Ilhan Omar gave a speech saying, yeah, I take none of it back. I'm not sorry for anything he said. He's a terrible person and a monster, blah, 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 and, doesn't have a legacy we should celebrate. I mean, what an incredibly ungracious thing to say while he's got a widow grieving and a little son and a little daughter don't have a father right now. If you have anything good to say about this, just keep your big mouth shut.
Yeah, amen to that. We're speaking with Deroy Murdock right now, Project 21 ambassador, Fox News contributor, and nationally syndicated columnist. The thing that I'm struggling with, I understand that people on the left aren't going to all of a sudden fall in love with everything Charlie Kirk had to say, and God bless America. There's no reason to have to fall in love with what he had to say. I just, the initial comment that was made by President Obama was, "We don't know what motivated the shooter," and then he went on to provide his sympathies. There is no. It seems like this is the easiest full stop to say, this is terrible and a very dark day in our country's history, and this needs to stop, without having any sort of couching or defense mechanism thrown in after a comma in a sentence. Yeah, you don't need the but. Even if you think that this person's Tyler Robinson's a MAGA pro-Trump Republican who decided that the best way to support President Trump was to assassinate his arguably most effective activist or surrogate. I mean, that makes no sense, but maybe Tyler Robinson killed Charlie Kirk because he wasn't conservative enough. I mean, it's just insane. But even if you believe that, just say, what a terrible day. This shouldn't happen in America. Let's put the guns down and go back to talking to each other. I mean, you can say that whether you think Tyler Robinson's far left extremist, a far right extremist, or an extremist who's so incredibly centrist and moderate that he had to take a gun out and kill somebody over it, if that's really what you believe. Just denounce the violence and call for us to get along peacefully. That should not be difficult to do, especially not for somebody as well-spoken and eloquent as Barack Obama. Deroy Murdock speaking with us right now. Last question. What advice do you have for people on the right who are kind of on the defense right now? If you're a public speaker and you espouse conservative viewpoints, you've had a few thoughts go through your head. And as we've been 3 weeks now away from what tragically happened to Charlie Kirk, conservatives can't be quiet. They'd have to be louder, but do we trust the environment we're in right now to keep people of all ways of thinking safe? Well, I think people who are in the public eye have got to have to be seriously and legitimately concerned about security. I mean, if you're going to go speak on a campus or anywhere, I would certainly, at a bare minimum, talk to the host and say, look, what is your security plan? Have you discussed this with your campus security or building security? I gave a speech yesterday at
UC San Francisco Law School to the Federal Society there, and I was very happy when I walked into the building. They asked me to show ID. They took a photograph of the front and back of my driver's license, and so anybody who wanted to come in and see me had to do that. So I'd imagine if anybody, I'm not the stature of Charlie Kirk, but if somebody decided to come in and take me out, that person would think, well, gee, if I run out of the building, they've already got my driver's license. I'm going to go, get picked up quickly. So I would say, if you're a public speaker and you can arrange for people to show their IDs, that might cause somebody who's malicious to think, well, okay, this isn't going to work. I'm just going to go home now. So in terms of that sort of thing, as for all of us, whether you're somebody who goes out and speaks publicly or just somebody who speaks with your friends, neighbors, loved ones, and so forth, keep speaking, keep talking. These are important issues. These are questions, vital questions as to how this country proceeds to remain free and prosperous and safe. And the last thing we want is to have the assassin's veto, where somebody goes out and it takes out somebody like Charlie Kirk, and the rest of us say, well, okay, we're going to clam up just to be safe. Exactly what they want. So I think it's incumbent upon us to keep speaking out for individual freedom, for constitutionalism, for peace through strength, for strong borders, and all the other things in which we believe, and keep fighting the fight, and do so as eloquently and factually and accurately as possible.
Yeah.
I think that is how we eventually win.
I think that is, and I think we're headed in that direction. What an awful occurrence with the death of Charlie Kirk to really snap everybody to I think the fact that it was so visible and it's so undeniable, there's no truth that is debatable in what happened to Charlie Kirk. Everybody saw it with their own eyes, so there's no spin on it. Makes everybody ask themselves the question about where am I at in relation to this, and a lot of people seem to be waking up in light of it.
I think that's true. I mean, if he had died of a stroke in bed, people could say, well, how tragic, but there's no criminality involved. Excuse me. If he had been shot but off camera, people could say, well, it was fake or whatever. But I mean, it was right up front and center, live on the internet, in incredibly vivid and excruciating color, and people all saw that. And I think that's part of why we've had such a dramatic response, is because of the gruesome manner in which he was killed, and the fact that so many people actually saw the heinous nature of his death. I think it's a big part of what's fueled the reaction that we've seen, the sympathy that's poured out for him, and now hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people trying to step up and support Turning Point USA.
Yeah, amen. Deroy Murdock, thank you for your time. As always, we appreciate you.
Annie, very good to talk to you. Thank you very much.
Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Nationally syndicated columnist, Project 21 ambassador, and Fox News contributor, Deroy Murdock. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Let's talk a little bit about the YouTube live chat poll when we come back. At the bottom of the hour at 1:30, Senator Eric Schmitt is going to join us. Is he still on Zoom?
Up to this moment,
as far as we know, we think he's going to join us live on our YouTube stream as well. So you can join in and vote in the YouTube live chat poll, which we will discuss next. Is America getting back to cultural, air quotes, normal? Yes, no, or there is no normal. What are your thoughts? Leave your comments. We'll discuss next. Don't go away. Point Pest Control. Call them directly at 636-798-0023. 636-798-0023. Point Pest Control is who my family, our household, we are quarterly premium service plan subscribers, essentially. Pay them 4 times a year, and I have bugs 100%. No bugs throughout the course of the year. If I see a bug, I can call them and they'll come help me handle it, but we don't. And I am having a huge aversion to spiders, as most of you who've listened for any amount of time might know. I don't do spiders. That's why I initially called Point Pest Control to solve this problem for me initially, and it has been amazing being bug-free. So if you have any critters, any pests that you're trying to deal with as the air starts to get maybe a little wetter, maybe a little cooler, ants, spiders, crickets, mice, whatever it might be, whatever pest might be infiltrating your home, get them out of there with Point Pest Control. You can trust these people. They're great. They're efficient. The treatment that they do to your home is safe for your pets, safe for your kiddos, your grandkids, your family, everything. 636-798-0023. That's 636-798-0023. It's Point with an E, pointpestcontrol.com.
Injured in a rideshare accident? Whether you're driving or riding, Kaufman Townsley knows how to handle these tough cases. We fight to get you the compensation you deserve. Kaufman Townsley. Real people, real results. Call 314-500-5000.
We, without hesitation, recommend that anybody work with ThrottleNet. The experience will be as good as it's been for us, for anybody, because you'll get a true partnership and you'll be able to rest easy that you're going to get the service that you need while they're also doing all those things that you don't want to have to think about, that you don't want to have to worry about. They're always doing that in the background for you.
Don't wait for your next IT crisis. If your business depends on technology, you need a partner that's got your back. Contact ThrottleNet.com to get a free IT evaluation and see how we can support your IT everything.
If you're trying to sell your home, there's only one group of agents in town I trust. Mark and Neil Gelman of eXp Realty. My friends Mark and Neil have the best system, options, and strategies to connect you to the best qualified buyers. 314-336-1991. Check out thegelmanteam.com. Hey, it's Mark Reardon for Generators Supercenter of St. Louis. And you know, your home is your sanctuary. You need to take the first step to peace of mind with a free estimate on a Generac home standby generator from the #1 Generac generator dealer in the country, Generator Supercenter. We learned the hard way here in St. Louis during the tornado recently that power can be knocked out. But even outside of that, what if the power grid fails and it's 100 degrees here in St. Louis? You don't want to be that person. Get with Generator Supercenter of St. Louis today. Generator Supercenter of St. Louis.com. Tell them that we sent you along.
Stop everything you're doing right now and ask yourself, are you currently receiving steady paychecks? What about when you're retired? Will you receive a monthly check to cover your expenses and also have some fun? Marvin Mitchell and the team at Compass Retirement Solutions calls this mailbox money. It's a monthly check you'll receive throughout retirement. They don't want you to worry about if the money will show up or how much money you'll receive. The only thing they want you to think about is how to spend it when it arrives. Find out how to get enough money in your mailbox every month when you're retired. Call Marvin Mitchell and the Compass Retirement Solutions team at 314-373-1598 to start working on a plan that can help you create the monthly income you'll need in retirement. Call 314-373-1598 right now and schedule a visit with Compass Retirement Solutions. 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services, investments, and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois.
I'm probably okay to have one more drink before I drive home. I'm probably okay. I open the window to stay alert. Probably okay. I just popped some gum in my mouth.
Step out of the car, please.
I probably made a mistake.
Probably okay isn't okay when it comes to drinking and driving. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A message brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Protect your liver and give it the support it deserves by making Active Liver from New Nordic part of your daily wellness routine. Find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS, Meyer Grocery, or online at Amazon or at newnordicusa.com.
Smart talk, strong values. This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
I was been waiting to do this poll when you got back, Ryan, because you emulate normal.
Thank you.
You're welcome. YouTube live chat poll for today is we can measure in time your thoughts. Is America getting back to cultural air quotes normal? Yes, no, or there is no normal. Now, I think I'm going to get to this a little bit more in the 2 o'clock hour, but I don't know. I guess somebody decided to do a deep dive on Netflix. I sent you guys some of those clips. Had you seen them that I sent you?
No, I had not.
Did you look at them since I sent them to you?
Yeah.
Should I play them on the air?
You can. I don't think it's inappropriate to play.
It's not inappropriate. The second one might be hard to hear.
They're inappropriate.
The second one?
The one with the for the Jurassic Park one.
Yeah, that's the one I'm referring to too. That is inappropriate for kids.
Yeah.
Well, so Netflix has shows marketed to 7-year-olds, and they have gay love stories in them. And another one is Cocomelon. First of all, there's a Jurassic Park cartoon. Did not know that. The other one is Cocomelon, which I don't think is on in our house, and I don't have Netflix. But Cocomelon has a story. The way it's presented is it's I think a biracial male gay couple, and I don't care about biracial. Like, I don't know why that really needs to be part of it. It's two dads. There are lots of families in this country that have gay parents. That is part of reality. But they don't stop there. They take it one step further, and they have a child, and there's a song, a little scene with a song that's telling their kid to be who you want to be or who you feel like you are. But it's basically these two dads who are encouraging their son to be who their son wants him to be, and so then he dresses up in girls' clothing and does a little song and dance. So that's a choice. Now, I'm thinking to myself, what audience does Netflix want here? Netflix is the company that put Dave Chappelle out there talking about doing comedy that was really ended up being centered around critiques of transgender people. Like, Dave Chappelle and the transgender issue are culturally hand in hand in the last 15 years. Wouldn't you say? And Netflix stood by Dave Chappelle. Isn't that right? Didn't Netflix?
Yeah, it was Netflix.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, they were like, sorry. They got protested outside in their Netflix headquarters, and they're like, sorry, we're not taking it down. So it looks as though Netflix is on both sides of this issue, which I'm thinking to myself, I do not want to walk into the room where my kids are harmlessly watching a cartoon that is centered around a child being encouraged to, like, the way it was written on Twitter was like encouraging their child to dress and drag and dance. And I'm like, I could see how you would say that, but that's maybe the most inflammatory way to say it. It doesn't need to be explained in an inflammatory way for me to not want my kid to be watching that slipped into a show that's for small children. And I'm like, do we need to put warning labels on this stuff? What is the warning label? May contain diverse themes or something like that. If you had a show, on the flip, if there was a show, let's just use Bluey, because everybody has some understanding of the concept of Bluey. Great cartoon. Never seen any of this stuff really get slipped into Bluey. Not effectively, at least. But if Bluey had a show that was centered around doing something wrong, referring to the thing that was done wrong as sin, and a little conversation that talked about, when you do something wrong, it's important that you say that you're sorry and ask for forgiveness. And then Bingo says, and it's important that you provide for forgiveness because Jesus died on the cross to forgive our sins. Jesus tells us that we're supposed to forgive the sins of other people. Are folks that are not in that camp going to be outraged that was slipped into Bluey?
I would think that they would.
Would they have a right to be?
Yeah.
Bluey would be making a choice. Mm-hmm. And in my mind, Bluey is saying, not necessarily we don't want certain kinds of viewers, but if this is not for you, we don't want you.
Yeah.
I'm making this content, and I'm not making it for you. So when Coco Melon is making an episode about two dads who are encouraging their child to dress their son to dress in girl clothes and put on a tutu and a little crown and dance around like that, that's just not for my family. I have a right to say that. I have a right to not subscribe to Netflix. I don't happen to be subscribed to Netflix right now. I want to talk a little bit more about that later in the show because there is a cancel Netflix movement happening right now, and I want to know from you guys if you think that that's right. But we can talk about it in the 2 o'clock hour.
Sounds good.
Senator Eric Schmitt's going to be up with us next. Is America getting back to cultural normal? Yes, no, or there is no normal? That's the YouTube poll. Just give me your answer to this question right now. No explanation, and we'll follow up.
Yes.
Yes? Yes! That makes me happy. I told you. The purveyor of normal.
Thank you very much. Nobody else needs to answer.
You should have seen how abnormal we were in your absence.
It was probably pretty weird.
Yeah. It was super weird.
I got to bring back the plumb line. And here I am.
Do you spell plum with or without a B?
B.
All right, let's take a quick break. Eric Schmitt is going to be with us, the senator from Missouri, my adopted senator, my favorite senator. He's going to be with us when we return, and we're going to talk about a host of things, but the shutdown is at the forefront. He's part of making sure this job gets done. We'll see what the senator has to say next.
Cause here comes that familiar feeling that Friday's famous for. Yeah, I'm looking for some action, and it's out there somewhere. You can feel the electricity all in the evening air, and it may just be more of the same, but
RulerFoods.com, saving in October at your favorite grocery store. Maybe your favorite grocery store you don't even know is your favorite yet. Shop at Ruler Foods and save on your groceries every day and a little extra from time to time. You can go to RulerFoods.com and see the ads that they're running right now so you can save a little extra. Red or white seedless grapes, $1.79 a pound. Heritage Farm chicken tenders, Kroger pork baby back ribs, only $2.99 a pound. Avocados, just 79 cents each. Time to load up on that guacamole. We love that in the Fry House. Jared makes the best guacamole. And avocados from Ruler Foods is always where it starts. Big K soft drink, 12 packs, 3 for $9, and Kroger butter sticks, 16 ounces, $2.99 with a limit of 4. You can shop smart and spend less every time you shop at Ruler Foods. Save on your grocery bill when you load up your cart, whether your cart is in the store or if your cart is online. Yes, Ruler Foods can ship those savings directly to your door. They do have delivery. Just go to their website, find the Ruler Foods closest to you, and let the shopping begin. RulerFoods.com.
Hey, it's Bo Matthews, and Missouri Brush Control is helping landowners reclaim their property through eco-friendly forestry mulching. Missouri Brush Control can transform your overgrown acreage into accessible and usable land, and in a fraction of the time compared to conventional methods. Missouri Brush Control also cleans up around ponds, lakes, and dams, allowing easy access to your water feature. They service residential, commercial, and recreational properties with their specialized machines and years of expertise. Enjoy your land like you've always dreamed of. Visit MissouriBrushControl.com. That's MissouriBrushControl.com.
Recently, a new client called me and started by saying, "Mr. Morgan, I really need your help, but I'm just a nobody." Those words stunned me, and I immediately called him back, and we're now helping him and his family after a terrible accident. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Everybody who comes to our firm at their time of need is a somebody. I grew up poor, but my grandmother was like a queen to us. At Morgan & Morgan, our goal is to level the playing field for you and your family at your time of need. The insurance company has unlimited money and resources. You need a firm who can fight them toe-to-toe. For right at 30 years, we have fought them in courtrooms throughout America. Our results speak for themselves. And always remember this, everybody is a somebody, and nobody is a nobody. Visit forthepeople.com to learn about our firm. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
Guys, it's time to take charge of your health with my friends at Victory Men's Health. Mark Cox here. I already love what they do at Victory. They do hormone optimization, sexual health, weight loss, even vitamin deficiencies. Now they're offering specialty cardiovascular testing and even early detection cancer screening. Visit them at one of their 4 great locations, now in Sunset Hills, Town and Country, O'Fallon, Missouri, and O'Fallon, Illinois. Tell them Mark Cox sent you. Go to VictoryMen'sHealth.com.
Are you nearing retirement and don't know if you have enough money saved to retire? That is scary. Do you have a written retirement financial plan in place? Well, when it comes to retirement planning, the trusted team at Financial and Tax Architects are the best. They've helped people all over St. Louis retire with confidence. And that's what you want. You want to retire with confidence. Now, they offer a one-night, 2.5-hour adult education class called Retirement Planning 101. They hold these at colleges over the St. Louis area and in Illinois. No cost, no obligation, just learning. And at this class, you learn how to avoid costly mistakes, how to maximize your income, how to reduce taxes in retirement. So call them today, 314-888-5101. Or visit FTA-RIA.com and take the first step toward a smarter retirement. 314-888-5101.
I just answered yes to this poll. The question is America getting back to cultural normal? If you leave a comment, we can see those two. Grant did that. He says, I answered no to the poll, and it's only because the left won't allow, quote-unquote, normal. That's the YouTube live chat poll of the day. We always ask you that question and ask you to weigh in with a vote and, of course, a comment, which we highlight throughout the show. So let us know what you think. It is 1:34. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
You've been listening to the very popular Wellness One for many years, Saturdays and Sundays on 97.1 FM Talk. We're happy to share that we've expanded the show to 4 times a week. Yes, 4 times every weekend. Saturday at 10 a.m., Saturday at 8 p.m., Sunday at 9 a.m., and Sunday at 2 p.m. It's the same great show designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you a common sense, science-based strategy for a healthy life. So join TJ and Aaron for Wellness One. Now 4 times a week on 97.1 FM Talk.
As veterans, we're no strangers to helping others.
That's what we were taught, service before self.
But we do have one question for the veterans listening.
When was the last time you reached out for help?
If you or someone you know needs resources, whether it's for stress, finances, employment, or mental health, don't wait. Reach out.
Find more information at va.gov/reach. That's va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
From Troy, Missouri to Troy, Illinois. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
This is insanity. We know from the work we do at America's New Majority Project that there are two things the American people feel about this shutdown. One, they do not want increased spending. Two, they do not want the government closed. So what do you have? You have the Schumer shutdown where Chuck gets up and says, I'm going to close the government to get more money. Now, that means he's on the wrong side of both issues.
So there you have Newt Gingrich highlighting what the left is trying to do. The Republicans have certainly successfully, in my opinion, labeled it the Schumer shutdown. And Senator Eric Schmitt is here to talk to us a little bit about where we are in this process. Senator, thank you so much for being with us here today. It's always a pleasure to have you on the show.
It's good to be with you again, Annie.
So talk to us about the Schumer shutdown. Is that fair? Is that a fair assessment of where the Republicans and Democrats are right now trying to get the government back open?
Yeah, and I think sometimes there's like rhetoric on both sides and you got to kind of parse through it. But this thing's actually pretty simple to understand, which is the Republicans have offered a clean continuing resolution effectively for like 7 weeks so we can continue to work on the normal appropriations bills. The Democrats have decided to reject that and hold hostage government funding so they can get $1.4 trillion worth of new spending, health care for illegal immigrants, all the sort of things that we did in the rescissions package that I actually handled. So all that crazy USAID stuff and funding NPR, they want all that in here and they're willing to shut the government down. And the reality is what this is really about is that they're being driven by this more radicalized base. Chuck Schumer himself is hearing the footsteps of AOC, who wants to run for the Senate against him. And so this is more about their politics than anything else. But the problem is, they're shutting down the government. So we voted again today. It's day one of the Schumer shutdown. We're going to continue to vote on this and give an opportunity for Democrats to come to their senses here.
Now, I think that it's important for people to understand what the Democrats are asking for. The advocacy that I continue to hear, Maxine Waters is another one who has just come out and recently spoke about they want health care for everyone as a highlight over the American citizens, of course. But the Democrats continue to make their priority. It's their vocal priority. I understand if it were kind of like the goal that they didn't want to actually say the quiet part out loud. But where are they advocating for the American people, the American citizens in this whole thing? I fail to be able to identify that place.
Well, yeah, they're not. I mean, this is really why they lost the election, because they're so obsessed with President Trump that they don't have a leader and they don't have a message. So they just continue to sort of lash out on anything that Trump wants to do or anything that Republican wants to do. The American people rejected that last November. I think part of this is they've not fully come to grips with what happened last November. They still can't believe that President Trump executed the greatest political comeback in American history and defied all the odds and gravity when they were trying to throw him in jail for the rest of his life. So some of this is their base is really still upset about that, and they want them to fight over everything, right? And this is just the wrong place to do it because, you're going to have the government effectively shut down. A lot of the things that they actually support are going to, be problematic when the government runs out of money. You're just not going to fund those things. Now, I think the Trump administration is going to prioritize making sure our military members get paid, making sure our law enforcement gets paid, making sure those Social Security checks and Medicaid and Medicare go out, the outward-facing stuff. But you're already seeing today Russ Vought, who's the director of OMB, talk about how there's just because of some DEI challenges and constitutional issues, some funding for some infrastructure projects in New York may not happen. So, that's where this thing is all headed. And it really is kind of silly. And just kind of like a history lesson on this, just a little bit.
Yeah.
Typically, and whether it's Republican or Democrat, in the last 15 years, say 2013, or in the most recent round when the Democrats wanted to have DACA as part of a government funding and the government shutdown, the exit ramp to get out of a government shutdown is a clean CR, a clean continuing resolution, which is exactly what the Republicans have. We have not loaded it up with a bunch of our stuff. We're saying that in order to keep government running and, to work on appropriations bills and do all the things that people want to do, this is the way to do it. So this is usually the way you resolve it. But the Democrats, again, are just stuck in this mode of the resistance as opposed to governing.
Yeah, and it's super obvious. If I'm looking for the Democrats, I was kind of talking a little bit earlier in the show, if the Republicans were in a minority and, a very large minority, pretty close, as close as you can get, certainly in the House, and in the Senate, it's not huge. The difference isn't huge. If the Democrats tried to put in something here, it was like, we're going to double the funding of Planned Parenthood in this CR, and Republicans were like, no, you're going to have to shut down the government. I just can't stand by that. I would understand the principle of that issue. I would understand that the Republicans have something they believe in, whether I agreed with it or not, and I would appreciate that the Republicans that were elected to represent their constituents in that way were standing on principle. It does not, I don't see where the Democrats can do that. It does really look like there is zero win that they're willing to participate in that might go to give Donald Trump a point on the scoreboard.
Right. And just this policy issue that they're advocating for, effectively, they kind of lost. So we did the rescissions package, and we could do it with 51 votes. We did the one big beautiful bill through reconciliation. We could do it with 51 votes because we have the House, because we have the Senate, because we have the White House. So the American people effectively had said, we reject Biden, Trump's coming back, we want this reform agenda, and then we delivered on it. And so really what this is a rebuke of by the Democrats of the American people. They've not accepted the results, and so they're just being obstructionists. We just had to sort of change the rules on how we deal with nominations because this president, for the first time literally ever, every single one of his nominations for every single position, save Marco Rubio, who was number one, was filibustered. So we said, okay, well, we're going to have to move these in block because a president deserves to have his people in place. That didn't happen under Joe Biden. He had like 87% of his nominees at this point were by voice vote or unanimous consent, or there was some bipartisan vote of some sort. But the Democrats, again, in this resistance mode, fought even that. And to put that into further context, Annie, to just show you how unusual that is. So the Senate has three calendars that we operate on. We have the legislative calendar where we deal with bills and this kind of thing. We have the executive calendar, which is confirmations and all that sort of thing, and ambassadors and judges. And then we have the impeachment calendar, effectively. So the executive calendar, which is where Clarence Thomas, right, his nomination, perhaps maybe the most controversial Supreme Court justice in my lifetime, he got 52 votes, meaning they didn't filibuster it, right? They didn't. And so now they're filibustering the general counsel of the Department of Transportation, right? Like nobody cares about that, but it's just this obstructionist resistance mode that we're gonna continue to kind of have to overcome. But on this government funding bill, the way out for them is just to vote to have 10 of them, or I suppose 8 of them, vote with Republicans and move on here.
I think that watching the Democrats try to spin this, you can tell they've been spinning, but it's spinning their wheels now. That before, when they owned the media, Senator Schmitt, they could say things out there on the Capitol steps, and then the reporters would cover it, and then the nighttime primetime shows on the agenda-driven media would spin it some more, and it was very cyclical, and it served a purpose. But it seems as though something has been pulled out of that, and I think that you are responsible for some of that with the pursuit that you've had against the censorship. Now, we just saw Donald Trump. He's fortifying so many of his legacies by suing these people. YouTube now was at like $24.5 million or something for censoring him. But you've led this charge. Their messaging structure that would usually, I think, prop up the Democrats being the good guys in this shutdown, I think they've lost it, and I don't think they know how to play the game with the rules that are there right now.
You're right. So media's been more diffused. That's a good thing. I think the censorship folks are in retreat, which is a good thing. And we still have to keep an eye on it. And I'm proud of the work we did in Missouri versus Biden. And of course, the subject of that book, The Last Line of Defense, How to Beat the Left in Court. That's a New York Times bestseller, which is kind of crazy.
Congratulations.
But the people can get, but the one thing I'll also say is, like, you were here, Annie. When was that? 6 months ago or something?
End of April, yeah.
Okay, so when I go from my office building in the Russell office building to the Capitol, what's kind of crazy about this place, which I had no idea until I was here 2 years ago, there's reporters everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, and you got to be on your toes, and they'll ask questions about anything that's going on in the day or whatever. They ask about President Trump's post or something. Whatever they're going to ask. And it's interesting. So I'm very accessible, and I'll come out of a hearing and there's a gaggle of cameras and I'll answer any question. They even know it. Like, even the reporters from the Washington Post, like, they ask the questions. They want so badly this to be the Republicans' fault because they're so used to doing that. But even they understand that this really is about Chuck Schumer, the Democrats, not voting to fund the government. Like, it's very obvious. If they were willing to do it, we wouldn't be in this situation. So even in the diffused media environment, you're right, your show, other shows where information now can get out there to people as opposed to the gatekeepers at the networks. Even the network reporters are like, they ask the question and they kind of get the joke. So anyway, it's hopefully we're going to get through this and continue to move, with the work that the American people deserve us working on, as opposed to this nonsense. And by the way, I don't want to go too long, but I would just point out this whole thing is kind of stupid anyway. Like, the idea that every 6 months we got some government shutdown. People back home, it gets ridiculous. They don't understand it, and I think it's stupid too. Ron Johnson from Wisconsin, who's a great guy, has a bill that says in the Government Shutdown Act, which basically means if you get to September 30th like we did, and you don't have all the budget bills done, you're just operating on last year's spending until you do, as opposed to the situation now where everything stops, national parks close, and you got to do all this stuff that we're doing right now. I think that's a good kind of structural reform, because this, every 6 months or every year doing this thing is just really kind of stupid.
It is. We did a poll. We do a poll every day on our show. Very scientific, of course, with the Annie Fry Show listeners. We had about 300 people vote on it, and we asked our listeners, so consider the source, if it shuts down, are you going to blame Republicans, blame Democrats, or I don't really care? 37%, over 100 of the people said that they didn't care. I was wondering if it'd be above 10%. I was surprised that over a third of our audience was like, whatever. I mean, the idea is that you guys will get it figured out eventually, and it does seem like a lot of slap fighting in the interim. So, I think there's trust that you guys are going to get.
No, I can relate to that. I feel like the people, because I'm back and forth every week, and just the like normal like people, like not Washington people.
Yeah.
They're just sort of like they just think this kind of stuff is just kind of performative, and but when you actually do, when you start, the longer you get into this thing, we're at day 1 of Schumer shutdown. By the time you get to day 15, though, there are checks that start. Not on Social Security, those sorts of things, but there are some things that are going to be impacted, and we'll see how it all plays out. But again, this is a relatively simple solution, but the ball is really in the Democrats' court.
Is it, Senator, if people are not being paid right now, is back pay usually provided? They'll get paid just eventually. Is anybody going to go without work and without pay in a finality right here?
No, it's basically you get the back pay, but that's not fair to the people who have nothing to do with this, right? It's the politicians that are being stupid, and so hopefully we'll get that figured out. Now, I will say this though, if the Democrats really want to go down this road, all the spending authority then shifts to the executive branch to make critical decisions about, with less money, what actually gets paid, right? So they're playing with fire here with some of their own, programs they've established over the years, and we'll see how that plays out.
Well, I want to encourage people to check out your book, The Last Line of Defense, How to Beat the Left in Court. The benefits from your efforts here as the Attorney General in the state of Missouri continue to bless all of the people in this country. And the book, New York Times bestseller, congratulations on that. Senator Schmitt, we're always grateful for your time here. Thanks for being with us today.
Thanks, Annie. Take care.
Yep, talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Senator Eric Schmitt from the state of Missouri, of course. We appreciate him each and every time. My favorite senator, my adopted senator. I got an invitation from Governor Kehoe a little bit earlier in the show, and Senator Schmitt, boy, if you moved over to Missouri, those are two good folks, two major upgrades from this Illinois resident right here. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit about that poll. Is America getting back to cultural normal? Yes, no, or there's no normal. Annie Fry YouTube channel. Go vote. We'll be right back.
Can't stop addicted to the shindig. Chop, chop, it says I'm gonna win big.
Stewart's American Mortgage and the Bagel Loan. You know the drill. If you Google the Bagel Loan, you can find out everything you need to know about how to get a new mortgage or a mortgage refinance on your current one. Equity in your house has gone through the roof, no pun intended. Maybe you want to tap into it and fix the roof or whatever it might be. Add on a deck, fix up the basement, finally put in a new HVAC system. Use the equity in your home to improve your home. It's a smart move. How do you do that? Well, it starts with a phone call or even a text message to my friend Stewie at Stewart's American Mortgage. I've worked with him twice for 2 bagel loans on my house. I stand by his services as a customer of his, and I encourage you to consider a bagel loan, which can get you that new mortgage or a mortgage refinance, and you will pay no closing costs going through that process. It's the best deal out there, and it's a phone call or a text message away for you. 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. Google the Bagel Loan to find out more information. NMLS number 226715.
Join us October 23rd at Lit Cigar Lounge as we celebrate 25 years. Enjoy drinks from Lore Wine and Spirits, Old Dominick Distillery, and Rayburn Wines, plus live music by Pretty Weeds and more. Tickets at 971talk.com/events. Presented by Rhino Shield and U.S. Men's Medical Center.
Hi, I'm Tom Connors. Went to Mark Patrick's hypnosis seminar February 6, 2019. Nothing worked before. Left there and never smoked again. Amazing. Easy, affordable, and guaranteed. A year later, with my wife Michelle, attended Mark Patrick's weight loss seminar. She lost 18 pounds and I lost 43 in 8 weeks.
It's true. He smoked 2 packs a day and nothing worked until Mark Patrick Hypnosis. Now we're losing weight together, eating healthy, full on half the food. Crazy. Enjoying exercising. Who would have believed Mark Patrick Hypnosis really works?
It's amazing. I can breathe again, my blood pressure went down, and I've got so much energy.
So much energy.
And look great.
Stop smoking. Lose weight now without craving, irritability, or your money back. Early bird special, only $49.99 guaranteed. Join Mark Patrick's hypnosis seminar and lose the weight. Stop smoking. Feel great for only $49.99 guaranteed. Saturday, October 18th at the Marriott St. Louis West in St. Louis. Weight loss seminar, 11 a.m. Registration, 10:30 a.m. Stop smoking seminar, 2 p.m. Learn more at markpatrickseminars.com. That's right, markpatrickseminars.com.
You know your customers. Ralph likes his coffee black on Fridays, but Mondays he takes a little cream. Jennifer comes in every 3 years when her lease is up to get the newer and better model. And for some reason, pepperoni pizza sells like crazy on Friday nights. Who knew? At Odyssey, we have the expertise to get your media plan done right. With ads like you're hearing right now, to targeted social media campaigns, search engine optimization, and location-based advertising. Advertise with Odyssey and help us grow your business. Visit ads.odyssey.com.
This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Show. Is America getting back to cultural normal? Yes or no? Or there is no normal? Before we went to speak to Eric Schmitt there, the senator from the state of Missouri, loved talking to him. Senator Eric Schmitt, if you missed it, it'll be on the podcast shortly. I asked you this question, Ryan, and you said, yes, America is getting back to cultural normal. Why do you say that?
Well, you have to define normal. To me, normal is the sound of a child's laughter.
Oh, my gosh.
Spending time with loved ones.
I think you're saying things. I don't think anyone says normal is the sound of a child's laughter. It might be like joy.
Well,
happiness.
To me, discussion like this is beautiful and is what normal is. So when we talk about talking about child's laughter, even that to me is getting back to normal. So I'm a hard yes on this.
Ooh, I wasn't listening.
I can tell.
I was texting my dad back. There's an early dismissal. He's picking up the kids.
I was going to keep going just to make sure.
I know, but I can tell by the tone of your voice when you've gone into bologna sausage mode.
Well, to me, you being able to tell when I've gone into BS mode, to me, that's normal.
You can say bologna sausage. It's okay.
I don't use that kind of language. I say BS.
So does Senator Eric Schmitt in the video that I wanted to air on the radio.
Saw that.
I couldn't.
I know.
I was kind of thinking it might have been worth it.
He didn't say bologna sausage, though.
No, he didn't. He said it, and he meant it, and he was right.
Yep.
Should we listen to it?
Yeah, play that, and then we'll all be without jobs.
Not all of us. Brad's the producer.
That's true.
I've got a dumb
Brad,
button.
you play it.
Yeah, Brad's responsible for that.
Oh, shoot. Ethan's playing it from outside the studio. We have no control.
Ethan, stop.
This is how you finally get Ethan. This is Senator Eric Schmitt talking about both sides at a hearing. Listen to this.
The Lee Zeldin stabbing attempt, left wing or right wing? Left wing. The Covenant school shooting in Nashville, left wing or right wing? Left wing. The Butler, Pennsylvania assassination attempt on President Trump, left wing or right wing? Left wing. Burn down cities during the Summer of Love in the George Floyd riots, left wing violence or right wing violence? Left wing. The Waukesha Christmas Parade massacre, left wing or right wing violence? Left wing. The Trump International West Palm Beach assassination attempt, left wing. The Abundant Life Christian school shooting, left wing. The United Care CEO's murder, left wing. Tesla's burned, keyed, damaged, firebombed, left wing, left wing. The murders at the Israeli embassy, left wing. The ICE facilities firebombed, left wing. The Minnesota Catholic school shooting, left wing. The anti-white Charlotte and North Carolina stabbing, left wing. The attempted Utah News State firebombing, left wing. And now, of course, the culmination of this vile trend, a left-wing assassination of Charlie Kirk. And I would point out, we've heard years of the left, their loudest voices calling anyone on the right extremist MAGA Republicans, fascists, Nazis, an existential threat to democracy. Check yourself. And don't give me this both sides, both.
Yeah, I wish that was the conversation we just had.
All right. Well, that ended nicely.
Don't you agree with that, man?
Yes. I have a lot more to say about that, too, but the music's playing. Music's playing. We'll come back.
Well, hang around. We'll talk about it here coming up next. See what I did there?
Yeah.
Thanks. You didn't compliment me like you usually do.
It wasn't that good.
Let me tell you one of the reasons I think we became the largest injury firm in the world, and it's not even close. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. My wife and I had a plan early on. In our firm, our lawyers only work on certain types of cases. Our products liability and dangerous drug lawyers only work on those cases. Same for car crashes, workers' compensation, medical malpractice, and insurance disputes. Our thinking is for these lawyers to focus on one area of the law and live it and breathe it. Power comes from knowledge. Many lawyers do everything, jack of all trades. Not us. And we don't charge an hourly rate. You only pay us if we win. If you want to hire us, it's easy. Dial Pound Law on your cell phone, pound 529, or visit forthepeople.com on your phone or computer from the comfort of your own home. Let us get to work for you. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com. Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
The Retirement Advisory Group is having their final of the year seminar. They're Protecting Your Retirement Educational Event seminar. It's Thursday, October 2nd at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30 p.m. I'd love to see you there. 6 o'clock is when I get there from 6 to 6:30. I'd love the opportunity to meet you. Mark Cox and Mark Reardon and I will be there, hopefully being able to get to everybody in the room. You just want to reserve your spot. If your calendar has freed up, we've got a few spots available, and we'd love for you to attend. 314-993-9494. It's a free seminar. It lasts, I think he starts at 6:30. He'll be done in 45 minutes. So it's a very quick way to learn about how you can protect your retirement, how you can answer the question about what to do about a personalized structured income plan, specifically for you, tailored to you and your retirement and what you want your retirement to look like. He's there to make sure that you are comfortable, that you are guided, and it doesn't cost you anything, and there's no obligation when you leave. It's free to sign up. You just got to call it 314-993-9494, retirementkey.com.
When life happens and you need to sell your St. Louis area home, do what I did. Call my friend and trusted realtor, Gloria Liu, with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. She's here with me today. Gloria is a St. Louis real estate expert with over 22 years of experience and expertise helping you sell fast and for the most money.
Selling your home can be so stressful, especially when life happens. like a sudden job change, a passing of a loved one, or a growing family. Knowing exactly how much your home will sell in today's market is the first step. Then I back it up with an upfront written guarantee. My guarantee is simple and easy to understand. If I can't sell your home at our agreed-upon price and time frame, I'll buy it myself.
When life happens, the name to remember is Gloria Liu, Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. I strongly suggest you call her right now. It's 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888. Or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
The shutdown debate continues. On Lisa Brady, Fox News. Fresh finger-pointing after short-term spending to end a government shutdown fails to advance again in the U.S. Senate.
At midnight, Donald Trump and Republicans shut the federal government down because they don't want to provide health care to working-class Americans.
House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries as Democrats push for an extension of soon-to-expire Obamacare subsidies. But Vice President J.D. Vance says they also want to restore two Biden administration policies that would end up funding health care for illegal immigrants.
It's a lie told by the Democrats that they're not trying to give health care benefits to illegal aliens. It's a lie that is obviously untrue if you just look at the text that they gave us.
He also suggests layoffs are more likely the longer the shutdown goes on.
Because we are in a government shutdown, we are going to have to lay some people off if the shutdown continues. We don't like that. We don't necessarily want to do it, but we're going to do what we have to keep the American people's essential services continuing to run.
Vance also says government agencies are not being targeted based on politics. Democrats accuse Republicans of wanting a shutdown and forcing one by refusing to negotiate. Just getting word that Jane Goodall has died, the conservationist and anthropologist renowned for chimpanzee research and environmental advocacy. The Jane Goodall Institute says she was in California as part of a speaking tour in the U.S. and died of natural causes. Aaron Combs with the Institute making an announcement in Pasadena.
Dr. Goodall's discoveries as an ecologist revolutionized science, and she was a tireless advocate for the protection and restoration of our natural world.
Jane Goodall was 91. From her home base in a British coastal town, she traveled nearly 300 days a year, even after turning 90. America is listening to Fox News.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Well, it doesn't really feel like the first afternoon of October, but at least our humidity levels are low. We're not tapping the Gulf of Mexico. Partly sunny skies. We should top out again close to 88 degrees. A good 10 to 12 degrees above average. Tonight, some clouds around 64. Thursday, sunny skies, 88. Instant replay on Friday, sunny and 88 degrees. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Annie Fry Show is sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com.
Annie Fry, Ryan Wiggins, Brad Ray.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride. What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
For goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
Well, we're talking about what's normal. And the reason why I felt compelled to ask this question on our YouTube poll today and to poll y'all about this is America getting back to cultural normal? It was really kind of exemplified in the J.D. Vance appearance at the White House press briefing today. He's taking questions. He's kind of just being a normal dude. Isn't it weird? J.D. Vance is super normal, isn't he?
Yeah. He's just a dude.
You feel like you know J.D. Vance. Like if you don't know J.D. Vance, but you know a J.D. Vance. You have J.D. Vance is
J.D. Vance
us.
is the apex of normal because he's really good at speaking, which is much better than most people who are normal, but he's just there. Like he's not hiding anything.
He answers questions from the press. He kind of gave his little spiel about why it's the Schumer shutdown, so on and so forth at the press briefing. But then he says he's going to take questions. And then people start. He had multiple questions on the sombrero meme. Donald Trump on True Social. Donald Trump's been posting a little bit on X lately.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough. Obviously, True Social. I wonder if I have to do a little research on that because when the whole True Social thing came to be and then they went public, I think that Donald Trump was required to only post on True Social for a certain amount of time. I wonder if we're around maybe a statute of limitations or something there. Anyway, he posts on True Social a meme of Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries standing at a podium outside of the White House, I guess after they met. And he puts a sombrero and a mustache on Hakeem Jeffries and has a mariachi band in the background. And Hakeem Jeffries went on, like, I don't know, was it CNN, MSNBC or something? Was not happy.
And which is exactly the reaction that Donald Trump is hoping for.
It was he got him. He baited him. He got him. He's up there. He's raging about how awful and terrible it is. And so Donald Trump's team takes that video and puts a sombrero and a mustache.
And the second one was funnier.
And the mariachi band behind him is for Donald Trumps.
It's for Donald Trump's looking very serious, playing the instruments.
They're killing it at that. Yes.
Yeah.
So that is something that would never have happened. The Trump administration would never, or the Trump campaign would never have done that in 2015. Never have done that. And they can do it now. And the question is, it really is a matter of political perspective, isn't it? Because if you're on the far left, if you're on the, let me put it this way, and I might start using this. If you're on the religious left, and I'm not talking about people who vote Democrat who are religious, I'm talking about people whose leftism is their religion. Big difference. But if you're on the religious left, you got to think that we've maybe gone beyond the point of return culturally in America, as is evidenced by the queen bee of the religious left, Rosie O'Donnell.
She's religious?
Her leftist. I think she might be Jewish.
Leftism is the religion.
Yeah, I did just say exactly that.
Gotcha.
But again, I know you don't always listen to this show.
Neither do you.
That just happened. I was texting my dad. He was getting my children. It's the only thing in my life more important than you.
Thank
it's my
you.
family. How do you
Thank you.
feel? That's also not true. Maybe. I don't know.
Feels
we'll see.
highly abnormal.
I know. I'm going to change my vote. When you watch the people on the left who live to hate Donald Trump, it's like a virus that they have. It changes the biology of the function of their body. They are driven by it. They are held up by it. They have to attend to it. It's consuming for people like Rosie O'Donnell. Now, do you remember when, is she in Dublin or something?
Yeah, she's in Ireland.
Do you remember when she first went there and she was like sitting on her porch and she's like, oh, getting settled in. And then she was like hanging out with a squirrel.
I don't remember the squirrel.
Do you remember that?
I think you're thinking of 2011 and the
I'm
Cardinals.
not.
Rally squirrel.
Brad, find on Twitter, just type in Rosie O'Donnell squirrel and then just share with us. There's got to be a video of it. I promise you. That, and also her glasses look like submarine windows. Have you seen this?
Yeah,
Do you know
I've
what I'm
seen
saying?
that. Yeah, I have.
They have like
Coke bottles.
they have like little knobs on each side.
Oh,
I'm not talking about
that.
the thickness of her glasses. I don't care about her prescription.
I thought you were just
I'm talking. No,
Railing on her prescription.
no, not at all. I think I'm happy that she could see. I wish she could see clearer. But the frames that she's chosen look like that they were ripped off of a submarine.
Oh, maybe they are adjustable.
I
They
bet-
have night vision.
It would make me feel better about it if there was a function.
Maybe they can see underwater. They actually are submarine goggles.
Have you found the squirrel video yet? Keep working.
Yeah, I think I got it.
Share it to the stream when you get it, and then we can all look at this together. Because she was on. Posts a lot. She's like an influencer of sorts. Rosie O'Donnell. Remember the koosh balls when she was the thing in daytime TV talk shows?
I don't remember the Kush balls, but I do remember her.
She'd shoot koosh balls into the. It was her big
Oh,
thing.
it's- okay. No, I
yeah.
don't remember that.
Several of the people.
I remember
listening
her
know.
show. I mean, it was on for a long time, and it did pretty well.
Yeah, she was great. She was great in A League of Their Own. Perfectly cast for that role, opposite Madonna. It was great. Okay, so we don't need to listen to it. Don't suffer us through this.
Fair enough.
What's worse, just sitting watching Rosie O'Donnell or watching and listening to Rosie O'Donnell?
Is this what you mean by the submarine goggles?
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do now.
Thank you. I can't. Every time I look at her, I think she looks like a mariner. I don't know if that's what she's going for. I don't think she cares what I think. That I wouldn't if I were her, if I were she. But the whole point being, she is so distraught by what is going on in the United States of America that she left. And when she left, and all she does is talk about what's going on in the United States of America. Why did she leave?
Well, she definitely doesn't want to be here, but she's also, I guess, consumed by it. Because if you leave, part of it is for your own mental health. That should be the reason that you left.
But it's not helping, and I'm glad that you said that. There's a video out here recently. Rosie's on with some MSNBC, I think, probably, and she's talking to them, and she goes, even my therapist says to me, why do you hate him so much?
Oh.
I was talking about Donald Trump, and she goes, my response to my therapist was, why don't you? And I'm like, I think you found the crux of your problem. You're going to have to work through that. Going to need another session.
Who's doing the therapy there?
I think one of them is paying and one of them is being paid, probably handsomely. But, I mean, she is on cable news. Here comes the squirrel, I think. She's talking to the squirrel right now. She's on cable news talking to the people on MSNBC about sitting down with her therapist, and her therapist is saying, like, why do you hate him so much? You know, there's a squirrel. That's her squirrel friend.
That's the one thing her and I would have in common. That if
Yeah.
a squirrel came in here right now, I'm talking to the squirrel.
So this news story just came out here recently of this conversation she had with her therapist that she's sharing with the world. Even her therapist is like, why does it mean so much to you? What else can Rosie O'Donnell do to purge Donald Trump from her life? She isn't in America anymore. She's still an American citizen, and all Donald Trump has to do is like, I'm thinking about revoking Rosie O'Donnell's citizen status, and she just laps it up. And she's the one who's out here making content. You know, I believe her. I believe her that she's distraught over this. She sees things differently. But I just, to her therapist point, what is it about this that is irreparably cancerous to their ability to exist here?
I think I have an answer to that question. Donald Trump is a bulldozer. He's ending certain things in America. There's a way that we've gone about things for a long time. They call it the post-World War II era. I've heard people say, well, we were in the post-World War II era. This is the way things are. It's the way the media is, the way the president acts, all that stuff, like the decorum. He has obliterated every sort of normal way that a president goes about things. And that's from policy and personality. It's both. And I think that people who are consumed with him, which I always refer back to the Biden poll, who won in the debate with Joe Biden versus Donald Trump. And roughly 30% of America said Joe Biden.
I don't remember that.
Clearly won that debate. I always refer to that 30% because it's not all Democrats.
And you really wonder, like, what percentage of those people actually watched the debate?
Or did they even believe what they were saying?
Yeah.
But let's say it's 30%, or even maybe it's less than that. Let's say it's 20% of America that is really that out of touch with reality that they can't, you could debate them. They can't really debate. People sometimes will call into the show with very good points. Other times to disagree. Other times will call in and just kind of say talking points. And the minute you try to nail them down, they just jump to the next thing.
I never nail them down. Just ask them questions.
And they just move
Yeah.
because they can't really support any one point.
It's because they're not like you said about the first group. I
Yeah.
can think of Michael's listening right now. Hi, Michael. He disagrees with policies, and he
Yeah.
comes in and he's like, we just don't see it the same way.
And that's okay.
Other people just hate Trump.
And it just move around. And then they're moving with their feelings. And anyway, the point that I'm making is that there are, let's say, there are 20% of the people of the country. They just froth with hatred for the guy because they can feel that he's ending something in America. He is. Mm-hmm. This is a change moment. This is a change decade now. It's going to be in America. We're going to look back on this and say, wow, that was a turning point. Sorry for the pun. But they feel that something's ending, and they ascribe it to democracy incorrectly.
Mm-hmm.
It's not actually democracy that's ending. It is a lot of the systems and programs that you like, that the way things have been, that he's abolishing. And they're ascribing that to democracy because they're so overwhelmed by it that they have to make it bigger than it actually is to justify their feelings.
The identification that problems exist culturally, I believe we live in a broken world, and that we're never going to fix it. We're never going to be done. Oh, we did it. And then it's just done and everything's good. It's a constant pursuit of happiness. There's never a guarantee of it, and there's never a completion of it. There's a pursuit of happiness that we get to enjoy here in this country. And what we have gotten from the left is kind of, I hope that we've lived it to the extreme, and that we've found the way as far as the pendulum goes to the left. But the completion of that pursuit of happiness, that guarantee of happiness, is essentially that the government will be there to provide, which is socialism, maybe communism in totality. And we've proven that not just that it doesn't really work, but guess what? A lot of us voted for it. I didn't. A lot of you, probably not. Some of you voted for it over the course of time because it sounded nice. And we got so far into it that we were like, this sucks. I liked what was promised, but that's not what was delivered. And there's no effective way that this type of market system, that this type of democratic socialism that Hillary Clinton couldn't define the difference between, because she didn't want to divide the people who are supporting her. She didn't want to say anything bad about anyone. So she didn't want to put down democratic socialists. That's where we were when she was running. But we got promised something in this country by Barack Obama that everything falls under the guise of hope and change, which is socialism, which is, you've been wronged. How many ways have you been wronged in this country? If your premise for what you're going to do in government is based on how you feel about the country, you have two viewpoints. One is that this country has wronged you. This country is built on brokenness and sinfulness, and it needs to atone for it. And then you have one other thought, which is, this country's been great. It could be great again. Those are the two thoughts. And the way that the former, presents itself through through campaigns and then elected officials is, if you think that there's a great wrong, this country is built on just absolute sinful brokenness, the great sin of slavery or whatever else it might be, and it's sold to you like we invented it here in the United States. Oh no, that stuff's biblical and imported. And we killed each other to stop it. If you believe that this country was built and only has roots in the victimization of people, then you would need somebody to come outside of that country to come in and fix it. And that's where the government comes in. It's this extra objective entity that's going to right all of the wrongs. And boy, we got a lot of big wrongs. We're going to need a really big government to solve it. If your premise is that this country was founded on a pursuit for the acknowledgement of freedom that is inherently God-given, yours and mine. It is ours. It can't be taken away. We can give it up. But that's something that's very good. The idea of freedom. And you got to know that if your premise is the idea that we are a free people, that we are endowed by our creator, not by a government, not by a government that can provide us rights and take us away, but those rights are ours. And the government can try to step in and infringe on it, but since we're a republic and not a democracy, that republic ensures that the Constitution oversees all things, not a majority of people. And that Constitution says we are a free people. That's a pretty good thing. You can do a lot with freedom. You can become wildly successful with freedom. And if that's the case, then the solution to the problems that we face as a country is going to have to come from the people. And generally speaking, when the government gets involved, generally speaking, a big government just gets in the way. It limits the people. So the question always has to be, are we going to limit the people with what the government does? And you have to have a really gosh darn good reason to do that. And we have a structure that says, a piece of paper that says where our rights will not be infringed. I don't think Rosie O'Donnell looks at the United States of America and thinks that there's a greatness that exists. I think that they want to pursue something that is great. And I think what they're trying to pursue, if you worship government, if you're trying to pursue something that is great there, then eventually you'd want to give the government complete and total control. Why would they trust the government? Like, these are not stupid people. Why would they trust people in government to be able to see the whole thing through? And the only thing that I can think of is they don't trust it. They believe America is inherently terrible, and they know that if the government is the ruling entity over the people, that people of privilege like Rosie O'Donnell are going to be on the right side of that equation. So are they hedging their bets? Is that really what it is? These prominent, rich, famous people, are they all just hedging their bets on trying to be on the right side of things? Because if you were trying to be on the right side of things and you didn't have an actual Christian religion, you had a government that was your religion, maybe that's all you would have. How hopeless is that?
Yeah, it's very hopeless.
And sad. And that's how I think you end up in Dublin talking to your therapist about why they don't hate somebody enough. Wearing submarine glasses in case the waters rise. We should go to break.
Well, it's an island.
For now. Pretty soon it's going to be a shallow pond.
It's going to be Atlantis. Be submerged.
Oh, man. Ethan Sports and Local next.
Dream about that. Rocky Top, you'll always be home sweet home to me. Good old Rocky Top, Tennessee.
HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com is the website. What are you going to expect when the folks from Home Shield Foundation Repair come over and start looking at your basement? And does your basement have to be wet when they come over? No. You reach out to Matt Hayes, the expert at Home Shield Foundation Repair. He's really fun, too. You're going to enjoy him, I promise. And his team at 314-227-9636, 314-227-9636. Home Shield Foundation Repair will come over. They have an experienced team of technicians that are going to be able to assess your needs in your basement here in the bi-state region, Missouri and Illinois alike. As those rains from fall season comes in, temperatures changing, rain's going to come in. You got to get rid of that pit in your stomach every time you see rain in the forecast. You know what I'm talking about. That starts with a phone call from Home Shield Foundation Repair. You'll be glad to meet him. You'll be glad to know he knows exactly what you're doing, what he's doing, and he's going to do the business the right way. 314-227-9636, 314-227-9636. Invest in Home Shield Foundation Repair so that you can get the long-lasting results in a dry basement that you've been dreaming of. HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com.
You hear that? That's the sound of your business losing money. Legacy phone systems weren't built for today's teams. Quo, formerly OpenPhone, gives your business a smarter way to stay connected. Quo lets you manage calls, texts, voicemail, and contacts all in one place so that you can deliver a seamless customer experience from ring to... Need to take calls on the go? Quo automatically transcribes, summarizes, and highlights next steps from every call, so you never miss a detail. Need insight into what closes a sale? With Quo's AI call tags, you can instantly spot key topics like objections or pricing questions and use those insights to level up every customer interaction. And yes, you can bring your existing number with you for free. Keep your team in sync and your customers happy with Quo. Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try Quo for free at quo.com/free and get 20% off your first 6 months. That's quo.com/free. QUO.com/free.
Is your home, business, or church looking tired, chalky, or in need of curb appeal? Go Rhino. Tired of painting year after year? Go Rhino. Our unique 3M ceramic technology is perfect for brick, stucco, aluminum, steel, color lock masonite, and more. It's backed by our 25-year transferable warranty to not chip, crack, or peel. Great if you're staying, and even better if you're selling. Our ceramic coating allows you to maintain all of your architectural features. The decision to do vinyl will leave your home looking like a plastic moldy box. With Rhino Shield, in 15 years, your home will still have that, wow, it looks like you just got it painted. We've done large condo complexes, parking garages, pole barns, and commercial strip malls. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. Evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't vinyl, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
If you want thick, healthy, gorgeous hair, then you need Hair Volume from New Nordic. Available as a tablet or a delicious gummy, Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
Annie Fry is back because truth doesn't take a break. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Hold up. Check it out.
Sports and local.
Ethan's Hard Left Communist News.
Again?
With Pinko Persman.
Oh, it's getting worse. This
Yeah.
is just
With
all
what?
communism?
It gave you a name.
Are you going to do the segment like this?
Let me tell you about the local news for a second. I don't get it.
This is tons of inside jokes all weaved together. That's a communist voice because communists are dumb.
Okay.
And also, we just called you a communist.
Okay.
Yesterday's was just communist news with Ethan. Today, it added with Pinko Persman.
I didn't hear that part, so I
My
was just
favorite jokes are the
confused.
ones that require 5-minute explanations.
Me too.
Go ahead.
Well, we talked a little bit yesterday
He's
about...
not even a leftist.
At this point, I've just kind of decided to just roll with whatever comes
Being
out
a
of your mouth,
communist.
Ryan.
I guess I'll just go with it.
Hey, Ethan, I'm just going to tell you, when you decide to give up, it's not today. This is when you fight back against.
I give up. Yesterday, we talked a little bit about the transition from John Mozeliak to Chaim Bloom regarding the position, the Cardinals president of baseball operations. During yesterday's press conference, one of the things that was discussed was Bloom said that Ollie Marmol would remain the manager of the Cardinals in 2026, which will be the final year of his contract. Some fans were happy about that, some were not. But what a lot of fans, I would say, on top of that, aren't happy about is that there have been rumors swirling, I would say now, probably over the last 18 to 20 hours, that
very specific.
Albert Pujols could be named the next manager of the Los Angeles Angels.
Of the Angels. And the new rule is you have to dress kind of like the team name.
Really?
Yeah, that's also been discussed within the last 18 to 19 hours, so just a little bit less. And you don't have to wear like the full mascot, but you do have to wear something. And for him, it would probably just be like a halo.
It would make his bald head look really shiny.
And for like if the Pirates, the manager's gonna have to wear at least an eye patch.
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Or a wooden
Interesting.
leg.
Thank you for the addition to
Or a wooden leg.
to that story.
You're welcome.
Greatly appreciated.
Now, if you're coaching the Mariners, you got to wear Rosie O'Donnell glasses. You missed that segment, so don't worry about it.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. I'm glad someone does. Albert has been, in the last couple of hours, rumored to be one of the front runners for the position after the Angels just yesterday said that they would not be bringing back their previous manager, Ron Washington, who held that position for just 2 years, I believe. So Albert is already technically on the Angels staff in some sort of way. But
Wasn't that part of his contract?
that was
when he
part
left?
of his contract.
He
It's
got like a
life-
20-year contract.
So like a lifetime contract. So he's getting paid by the year already to be affiliated with the Angels organization. So it seems like there is a chance that Albert could be managing here relatively soon in Major League Baseball, and it may not be with the St. Louis Cardinals.
If you were the coach of the Reds, you'd wear a Soviet-style little hammer and sickle.
You got any more while we're at it?
No. No. I'll think of more.
Yeah, as we're
But
going,
no, now.
I'm going to switch to a different story.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
As we're going on here, if any come to mind, just throw them out.
You say that like you need to give him permission. He wasn't going to do it anyway.
I know. I just wanted to make sure it was clear
Now
that
I
I
won't.
want more. Now you won't. Doesn't speak again the whole segment. We've talked today a little bit about the government shutdown regarding, just the impact.
Yeah, we've
the
been
effect,
talking about it.
Shut up. The impact, the effect that's going to have throughout the country. The Gateway Arch and
He's resorted to shut up.
the Gateway Arch and the
think you've
Old
broken him.
Courthouse are both closed today.
Oh, Ryan, you were going to go.
Love me some Arch.
Not the radio station.
No. Or McDonald's.
We have friends over there.
So the Gateway Arch and the Old Courthouse, two of the areas that are closed and affected as a result of the shutdown. I think sometimes people kind of forget, like, oh, what are the different things like around me that are going to be impacted? I'm not saying any of us are going to be, besides Ryan apparently, are going to be taking trips to either of those places. But yeah, two of the local spots that are going to be impacted by the government shutdown. One of the other things going on in the city, we had last week on someone discussing the new food hall that's going to be built on Washington Avenue. Another development that is going on downtown is there's currently there's been obtained financing to move ahead with a redevelopment of the Mansion House apartments, which, if you don't know where those are, they are almost right behind the Arch. Amazing view of the Arch. Actually, it's really close to the Dome, just a few blocks away. So right in the heart of everything on 300 North 4th Street. 415 units here at this apartment, or excuse me, at this I guess they are technically apartments, just in a high rise. The renovation is going to be $195 million, and it's expected to be completed by June of 2027. But the part that surprised me the most is that rents are going to be only starting at $1,100 a month.
Ooh.
And I thought that was
For how many
super
beds?
affordable. I'm sorry?
Does it say how many beds?
It doesn't say how many beds. So
gotta
I'm
be like a
assuming that's
studio.
probably studio. But still, I look at, what I'm paying in St. Charles to rent. And I'm like, what the
when
heck?
you were renting, what'd you pay a month? What was rent
The
usually
only
for you?
time I ever rented was in college, and I think I was paying me and my roommate $400 a month split. So
you split $400 a month.
Yeah.
In a 2-bed.
It was a 2-bed, but it was one of the bedrooms was tiny. It was like a closet.
Yeah, but you don't care if you're
But when
paying
we're in
$200
college,
a month.
Yeah, we didn't care at all. That apartment was so crappy that the location was amazing because it was right by our school, SIUC. But I just walked out of the door one time, and I was just leaning up against the wall to put my coat on, and I fell in through the wall. And I had to tell them, look, I didn't get drunk and
I
do
was just
something
standing
crazy.
here.
I just stood against the wall, and it fell in. And they're like, we believe you.
You rent. You rent. Would you believe them?
If I knew the condition of the place was like that,
You
I'd
would?
say, okay.
I lived in it was a 2-bedroom apartment, but one of the bedrooms was really big, and I had the one bedroom by myself, and then 2 girls shared the other room, and I think it was $525 split 3 ways. And then I went and moved to a townhouse, and I think it was like maybe $650, and there were 2 girls living there. Then I moved to a different town. I'm not going to name it, but I didn't realize that I was moving into not the greatest. It's a nice town, not the greatest part of a town. And that was $425 for a townhouse, and I lived there by myself. But for a while, turned out the people were dealing drugs next to me, and my dad's like, "You're moving back home."
You talk about Edwardsville.
No. No. But when I think about the rent that I paid, or that, when my husband was renting other places than we'd ever lived together, it was so cheap compared to what it is right now.
Yeah, it's crazy. It really is.
It's outrageous. Ethan, another story you done?
Yeah, I'll throw in one more. Let me ask you this before. When was the last time any of you were down in Shawnee National Park?
Don't know.
It's been a while.
Wiggins?
Probably a couple weeks.
Probably. He sometimes accidentally goes
I
there.
black out and I end up in Shawnee National
like,
Park.
Try to have to fall through a wall.
It's like Narnia.
I swear.
Just walking in my wardrobe.
It's like Narnia.
Did you guys know that there is a portion of a road in Shawnee National Park that gets closed every single year because thousands of snakes and other amphibians use this road for migration?
They stay on the road?
Thousands of
They
snakes
cross it.
use this road. They cross this
cross
road.
it. Yeah, they use blinkers and everything.
As they're getting to their hibernation area. A 3-mile stretch
They should move the area.
of LaRue Road is currently closed. It's been closed since September 1st, and it'll be closed until the end of October because of a migration
I'm just
of
going to
thousands
say right
of
now,
snakes.
we've done this story before, like previous years, and we had a day with it, and I got some hate mail on this story specifically.
Why?
Because we were disrespectful to the snakes or something.
Disrespectful to snakes? Sounds like all they do is respect the snakes.
I just want you to send your email to him. Just don't send it to me. Say whatever you want.
I don't listen to me. You send me an email right now. I don't really love your snakes.
Ryan might fight with you.
Oh, this is going to be
I like your other amphibians. I protect those. Don't love your snakes.
Ryan's picking them out.
So if you happen to be...
Frog, you may pass.
Snakes aren't amphibians.
Well, he said other amphibians.
says snakes,
facts don't
other
matter.
reptiles, and amphibians.
Yeah.
So if you happen to be down there,
Nope.
in Shawnee National Forest, sounds like Ryan could be there any time
Ooh, I
over the
think
next
that this
couple of
is
weeks.
That's when you wake up this time of year.
Really great opportunity for Ryan to report from the weather center in the Shawnee National Forest.
I'll tell you what.
I'm tired of these
When you
snakes.
when you go to sleep and it's September 27th and you wake up and it's October 1st and you are outside the Shawnee National Forest hibernation area, you are scared because you are covered in
Northern cottonmouth rattlesnakes.
Kate says on YouTube, "Oh, what a scoop!"
Thanks, Kate.
Don't go to the Shawnee Forest if you want to pass that road, or if you
gotta
don't
go
like
around.
snakes. All right, let's take a quick break. We're going to talk a little bit more about this poll and what Netflix has been putting out. When we come back, you got a question about how normal we are right now. Are we getting closer to being back to whatever normal might be? We'll be right back.
Let's show them we are better. Let's show them we are better. We're staying in Paris.
AirComfortService.com. Reach out to Air Comfort Service at 314-513-0091. 314-513-0091. I talk a lot about how I've had my HVAC system pretty much as a whole, not the ventilation, but the furnace and the AC unit at my house replaced by Air Comfort Service. They were great to work with. They were polite and quick when they were in my home. They'll do the same for you. But if you're a business owner right now, if you're somebody who is an office manager, you're in charge of making these phone calls, having your system checked up on as we are getting towards the cold time of the season, Air Comfort Service does commercial repair as well. You can call Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation at 314-513-0091 and get a free second opinion on a heat exchanger or compressor repair. They've provided residential and commercial heating and cooling services for over 55 years to residences and businesses just like yours. You can trust them when they come to your home to treat you right and to do the work the right way. 314-513-0091. Online at aircomfortservice.com.
You hear that? That's the sound of your business losing money. Legacy phone systems weren't built for today's teams. Quo, formerly Open Phone, gives your business a smarter way to stay connected. Quo lets you manage calls, texts, voicemail, and contacts all in one place so that you can deliver a seamless customer experience from ring to... Need to take calls on the go? Quo automatically transcribes, summarizes, and highlights next steps from every call, so you never miss a detail. Need insight into what closes a sale? With Quo's AI call tags, you can instantly spot key topics like objections or pricing questions and use those insights to level up every customer interaction. And yes, you can bring your existing number with you for free. Keep your team in sync and your customers happy with Quo. Quo, no missed calls, no missed customers. Try Quo for free at quo.com/free and get 20% off your first 6 months. That's quo.com/free, quo.com/free.
Attention St. Louis Medicaid residents in need of care at home. If you need assistance with daily activities, you can receive in-home care from a loved one that lives with you and they get paid. Through Medicaid, Freedom Care allows you to choose who provides your care at home in St. Louis, and they get paid weekly. Available to eligible Medicaid members in St. Louis. Call now to check your eligibility. It can be your daughter, son, a close relative, or trusted friend helping you with cooking, transportation, laundry, and other activities in your own home. You get the help you need, and your caregiver gets paid. Freedom Care has over 7,000 five-star Google reviews and is a leading choice in St. Louis for in-home care. If you have Medicaid and want to receive great care from a loved one, go to freedomcare.com or for faster service, call 314-597-1749. 314-597-1749. That's 314-597-1749.
Freedom Care, we're here for you.
Are you nearing retirement and don't know if you have enough money saved to retire? That is scary. Do you have a written retirement financial plan in place? Well, when it comes to retirement planning, the trusted team at Financial and Tax Architects are the best. They've helped people all over St. Louis retire with confidence. And that's what you want. You want to retire with confidence. Now, they offer a one-night, 2.5-hour adult education class called Retirement Planning 101. They hold these at colleges over the St. Louis area and in Illinois. No cost, no obligation, just learning. And at this class, you learn how to avoid costly mistakes, how to maximize your income, how to reduce taxes in retirement. So call them today, 314-888-5101, or visit fta-ria.com and take the first step toward a smarter retirement. 314-888-5101.
The YouTube live chat poll today, is America getting back to cultural normal? Yes, no, or there is no normal. Let us know what your answer to this question is. We will give you the results in about 15 minutes at the end of the show here, and then stick around for Mark Reardon. YouTube live chat poll of the day. It is 2:41. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Cutting through the spin. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
It's close to midnight. Something evil's lurking in the dark. Under the moonlight, it's just like that almost stops your heart. You try to scream, but Tara, take the sound before you make it.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Happy you're here. A reminder, you can always watch our show on YouTube after the fact. It's kind of like a way to do podcasts, of course, with video. Just go to YouTube, type in Annie Fry, F-R-E-Y. You can watch us live as well. Some people like to check out the show afterwards and maybe go back and watch a highlight, like Senator Eric Schmitt, who was with us at 1:30. You can also subscribe to the Annie Fry Show podcast. We always highlight those things, including Governor Mike Kehoe, who was on in the noon hour. A great show lined up for you today. Our poll question for today, is America getting back to cultural normal? Yes, no, or there is no normal. It feels to me like the wave of cancel culture that we kind of went through. First, if you had any sort of affiliation with Trump, that was grounds for a while to be canceled. And then there is kind of a pushback against that. And then, January 6th was definitely something that was used to cancel a lot of people. Boy, I want the real truth on that. Don't you? Like, we're finding out that there are plainclothes officers that were sent out to try to help disperse. The story is changing as the story has been released by Kash Patel.
What I've seen, and I haven't seen an official source on this, although, I've seen the Kash Patel stuff, but I haven't seen an official publication write this, that they're saying about 250 officers were planted within the January 6th crowd. from the FBI. Now, that doesn't include the DOJ or anybody else, which means that's a lot. That's a lot of people, and we know at least one of them, because we know his name, was inciting violence.
Who?
And that's Ray Epps. He was at least plainclothes. I don't know if he was an agent, but he was working for.
I don't know.
Do we know that he was an asset?
Yeah. Christopher Wray would not answer that question. Was he an asset? No, I won't answer that question.
I don't think we know that.
Anyway, I'm telling you
I would love to know that.
that is what is being said right now, is that there were around 250, between 250 and 300 plainclothes officers.
If you went on January 6th to be a part of something that was really important to you, there's a difference between being there at January 6th and then, breaking windows, breaking and entering essentially into the Capitol building. There's a big difference there. And we just, there's been why does the select committee destroy their documents? Why? Why? There's so many questions that are why. We want the answers to it. But if you were affiliated with it for a long time, if you were associated with anything to have to do with Donald Trump, people would cancel you. If you didn't fully subscribe to the groupthink of the left, you got canceled. Gina Carano, great example. She said her pronouns were beep, bop, boop. And she made some comments. She made something. There was a Holocaust reference of some sort, and it was having to do with forced vaccinations and all of that stuff. And I mean, did she deserve to lose her entire career? Completely not, because they blew it way out of proportion. They hunted her and they took her out. And you know that they were wrong because Disney settled with her. And Disney's not going to settle with you if they are standing completely. They can out-litigate anybody. They're huge. Here's a question. We're asking you about culturally if we're getting back to normal. Now I'm going to play a clip here. It's a 40-second clip from Coco Melon. This is kind of taking X by storm right now. There's a lot of people highlighting things that are on Netflix. Now, Netflix is a company that, in my opinion, they get to decide what they put on their platform. And I highlighted before that Netflix platformed Dave Chappelle when he was giving stand-up comedy that was centered in large part around jokes surrounding the transgender community. Now, I'm just going to set the tone visually for you. These are two dads who are talking to their child. They're going to do a little song here. And essentially what they're doing is trying to encourage their son to be who he is. And it sounds a little like this.
That we know about you. You love to get up and dance. How about you break out those moves for your two biggest fans? If you're not sure what to choose, think about all the things you like to do. Just be you.
Just be me?
Yep. When you're trying to decide, think about all the things you like to do. Just be you.
Just be me.
So Just Be Me, and he's holding while they're singing the song. He pulls down like a jacket that is a jacket a boy would wear, because why? It's blue and green, and something else. I don't know what else was in the closet. Two very boy-centered pieces of clothes, and then you see that the things that after he's chosen to just be you, just be me. Yeah, he's putting on a tutu and he's wearing a crown, and this is Coco Melon, and this is centered towards young children. Do you expect this to pop up in Coco Melon? I'm not familiar with Coco Melon. We don't watch that in my house because we don't have Netflix. What are your thoughts on this programming existing? Like, should we cancel Coco Melon? Should we cancel Netflix because this took place?
Well, first of all, I love Coco Melon. I usually watch it after the kids go to bed. But
it's a weird kink.
But I will say, now that's too far, first of all.
It's the dads, isn't it?
You're very stylish. No, those are new characters. I was like, whoa. What?
You know more about this than I do.
Netflix now.
It's a catchy tune.
Here, I'll take a step back from this entirely and say I don't like the message of go be you to kids at all. Whether it's in this context with gay dads or in any other context, because it's a very popular message with almost all kids programming. Go be you. When you're a kid, you don't know what the hell you are. You don't know what you are. You don't know what you like. You might like cake. Like, you might know little things that you like.
Are you speaking from experience?
You don't have some sort of value set about who you are yet. In fact, that's kind of the point. You're a kid. You don't know.
Yeah, if you're to your point there, like, why would this not immediately apply to like what you sit down and eat? Like, you do you. You eat what you like. If you don't like it, don't do it.
That's kind of that's part of the point, is that if you like it, then that must be you. Like, you
And it
identify
must
as
be
somebody
inherently good.
who only eats saltwater taffy. Oh, that's who I am, Dad. That's all I can eat. You know, that kind of nonsense is so ridiculous. But we apply that value, and then we give it to not only adults, but we give it to kids. Now, I as an adult kind of know who I am because I've been around long enough to kind of know what I like and what I don't like, and I have a value system. A kid doesn't have that. And so when you tell a kid, go be you, you're basically throwing them into the wind and saying, fly. They can't do it. They don't know what they are. They don't know what's right and wrong yet.
The
That's
whole
part
point
of being a
parenting
kid.
is guardrails.
Yes.
Guidance.
And kids want that.
Yes.
And this is saying, do not apply rules to children at all. And it's telling kids, really, you should be in control of everything that happens around you. You make the rules. And it's in lots of kids' programming, and it is such a bad message, but it sounds nice. So we don't really preach a lot about it.
I got to ask a question. Are we in the third or fourth segment?
We're in the third segment.
We got to take a break.
But I got more to say.
I have a lot more to say, too. The worst advice that we give kids is follow your heart. If you don't follow your heart, follow God.
Mm-hmm.
And going and doing whatever you feel is good at the time. You would not give your child that advice, to your point, about food, about sex, about, the other sorts of things that you could say, oh, this would feel really good if I did this. Most of those things are things parents are supposed to say no to. Quick break. We'll be right back.
Celebrating 25 years of 97.1 in St. Louis. Here's Jimmy Fela.
I'm nothing without you, 97.1 FM Talk, and America needs you more than ever. So congratulations on 25 years. We cannot wait to see the next chapter.
Surprise!
Surprise!
You know, surprise parties, they can be fun, right? Well, financial surprises, not so much, especially when you're retired, like finding out you owe more in taxes than you thought you would, or having to go back to work to make ends meet. Maybe you think you'll be okay, but why not double check just to be sure? Call Marvin Mitchell at Compass Retirement Solutions and schedule a retirement double check. Marvin and his team have been helping families plan for retirement for more than 15 years. Call 314-373-1598 to schedule your retirement double check with Marvin Mitchell at Compass Retirement Solutions. That's 314-373-1598. Don't let a financial surprise derail your retirement dreams. Give Marvin and the team a call, 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services, investments, and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and in Illinois.
I met my wife in law school at the University of Florida. She was from upstate New York and I was from Kentucky. We met at a daily mass at St. Augustine's. She was the most beautiful girl I'd ever seen in my life. After communion, I followed her out of the church and got her phone number. The rest is history. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Little did we know that one day we would have 4 children and the largest injury firm in the world. All 4 work in the business. It's a family business. Did I ever see this coming? Hell no. We just worked very hard and treated our clients like we would want to be treated, like family. It's a full-service injury firm, auto accidents, medical malpractice, workers' compensation, Social Security, and insurance disputes. We're open 24/7, 365 days a year. Visit forthepeople.com and we can get to work on your case. No recovery, no fee. Morgan & Morgan, for the people. Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Have you been notified that your subsidy for Obamacare health insurance is going away? Well, you can leave now while you're still healthy and qualify for much better individual plans. Greg Hammonds at greghammonds.com has been helping people get affordable health insurance with great coverage for over 35 years. Greg offers private health insurance plans that are not on the ACA marketplace. You can pick your doctors. For most claims, you won't even pay a deductible, and they're 30 to 60% lower cost than Obamacare. One more thing, there's no tax penalty at the end of the year. Greg even has plans that are guaranteed acceptance. If you pay for your own health insurance, you're uninsured, you're on COBRA, or your employer coverage is just too expensive, call Greg at 314-794-7784. That's 314-794-7784. Or go to greghammonds.com. That's greghammonds.com. He can custom design a plan by you, not the government.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Gosh, this song, what is this, like 1995, 1996?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's so good. It reminds me. I can picture myself in my bedroom.
Driving around in the Shawnee National Park.
Running from the snakes.
Running over snakes.
Like Ireland.
Listening to that song.
YouTube live chat poll. Is America getting back to cultural normal? Yes, no, or there is no normal. Brad, what do you think?
Yes, I think so. I think people are realizing that the theater kids aren't in charge anymore and they're not cool.
Shots
and we're not
fired
gonna
at
do
the
it.
theater kids.
Hey,
Good
listen,
grief.
listen.
I love theater kids.
Link Lauren, I love them too, but they shouldn't be in charge of the government. Link Lauren pointed that out, and I'm going to go with him on that.
Send those emails to Brad. The snake ones,
I'll
they go
fight
to
you.
Ryan. I am not. I love theater kids.
Yeah, if you didn't get context for that, check the last segment. Don't just assume I get snake emails. Any snake email.
All of the snake emails.
'Cause there's some dude listening that's like, I'll send you some snake emails.
People are getting a little more comfortable making jokes again. And not just making jokes, but other people are more comfortable laughing at them. And the fact that comedy is making its way back into the way we talk about things is refreshing, which means I do feel like we're getting back to cultural normal. I don't know. It's when I wrote this question, I was also thinking about COVID. You know, we used to say, will we ever, do you remember in the middle of COVID when we were asking ourselves, will we be normal again? Like, will we ever go back to where we just like walk into a store and shop? And there was a moment in time where it wasn't really certain that it would ever look and I don't think about COVID when I think about my life. It happened and I can't believe that happened. But I do feel like that part, we're completely back to normal. Now, if we could get our sense of humor back and our ability to exist and have differing opinions and just be A-okay with the idea that we believe different things, we think different things, that's what I'm looking for. And I do think we're headed back that way. Ethan, you want to give us the results today?
240 votes on today's YouTube live chat poll. Is America getting back to cultural normal? 25% say no. 27% say there is no normal, and 49% say yes.
Pretty evenly dispersed there. No simple majority on the poll. Thank you for participating today. Keep it right here. The Mark Reardon Show coming up next.
You've got a ton of equity in your home. You're sitting on a gold mine, and you could do so much with all that cash, like travel, invest it, or pay off debt, but you can't touch it unless you sell your home. But you really don't want to move. And besides, homes are sitting on the market for a long time these days. You're trapped, right? Well, not with TrueHold. With TrueHold, you can cash out your equity in as little as 30 days. And listen, you don't have to move. You can stay in the home you love as a renter. So that's TrueHold's Sell and Stay program. You cash out your entire home's value and stay put. TrueHold even covers property taxes, property insurance, and essential repairs. So imagine using that equity to travel, invest, or pay off debt and stay in your home. It's brilliant, especially in this slow market. You get an all-cash offer now by calling 1-855-300-9993. You can also visit TrueHold.com, the smarter, faster way to cash.